Hello? Hello everyone. Hopefully we are properly live. It's Pedz and Doom. It's the Pedz and Doom show. Today we have no special guests. How are you doing, Doom?
I am very good, thank you. How are you doing, Pedz?
I am alright. I'm calling it the Pedz and Doom show because that's what it's become, really.
To be honest, if one of us aren't here, it doesn't happen. So
exactly. Hello, chat. Hello, everyone here.
Let's say to chat because we've already got 2 people in. What is all this about?
I know, it's shocking. They must really love our sexy Welsh accents. Or maybe my singing on Twitch the other day just riled the crowd up to come and listen to me talk some more.
Oh, Cricken's firing some shots there. He's calling it the Doom and Pedz show rather than the Pedz and Doom show.
Pedz and Doom show sounds better because it's like, it makes it sound like it's a Pedz show, but because it's a Pedz show, it's full of doom because it's so bad. See? Whereas the Doom and Pedz show makes it not sound as bad.
Sound like it's full of pets.
It's full of me. I'm all up in Doom.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yep.
That's escalated quickly.
Oh, it has. Grab cloud.
Hey.
Right. Okay. Anyway, today we're going to talk about some news shite that's happened over the last since we last did it.
Yeah.
I don't know how long we can talk about each subject. There is a couple, but we also wanted to try and get a podcast done for preparation for E3. We want to throw some random shit out there, and then you can all point at us and laugh about how wrong we are.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be fun. Also, we might as well mention it now. Get a plug in that me and Pedz were talking about it, and what we're thinking of doing is potentially on the Saturday night, Sunday night, Monday night, and Tuesday night, we might do a live show recapping what's happened at E3 for the day and talking about it. So that might be like a 9 p.m. on those 3 or 4 days, just to keep everyone in the loop. If it happens, then there's the plug for it. If it doesn't happen, we might have some disappointed faces.
But as we don't see them, we'll never know.
It doesn't matter. Yes.
Your faces mean nothing to us. But your words can be very harsh. As I found out yesterday when someone called me an idiot for not pressing the save button in a video game.
Who called you the idiot? Is it anyone in chat?
No, it wasn't just some guy in the stream. It's like, I don't want to save it. I explained, I don't want to save the game. I want to save it right now. I actually want to not save it specifically because the guy who said save, he said to me, save it because, you know, there's consequences to which thing you take. I said, well, I don't want to save it then. So once I finish the game, I can then go back from not saving it and then pick the other choice.
Yeah.
Simple.
Easy peasy.
There you go. Anyway,
cool.
We were first going to talk about, if my memories are correct, a video game remaster.
Yes.
Which is Ghostbusters.
Yes.
Right. I was wondering.
Yes.
Have you actually played Ghostbusters?
I have not played Ghostbusters.
Remember, this is a remaster of the NES game.
Same.
It's not that game. It's a remaster of the 360, PlayStation 3, and PC game from last gen. I'm not sure if it was on like the Wii or Wii U or wherever. But basically, you start the game as a rookie who's just joining the team.
Okay.
And you then have to help them take down ghosts.
So is it an RPG or is it kind of just mission based or?
I played it a little bit. My memory's not great on there. From what I remember, it's kind of like an action game where you shoot at some ghosts and try and suck them in with your proton pack and all that. Cool. But it seemed fine and it seemed quite funny, but I don't know if the thing that bothers me is we keep getting remasters of games that are from last gen, and it's like we don't really need them. And the thing that bugs me even more is when they do it for full price, and the game, like some games have literally been out for came out at the end of the generation, and then a year or two later, like, oh, here's a remaster. Yeah, give me all your monies.
I get that, and I think honestly, I think the word remaster gets used a little too much as well. You know, a perfect thing is though, and there is a difference between a remaster and a remake, isn't it? Like, I'm sure there's more to it than just this, but essentially a remaster is just bumping the resolution of the previous game, where a remake is a total rebuild from the ground up.
Yeah, a remaster to me would be something like Dark Souls, where they added DS fix and then sent it out to the wild. Whereas a remake would be the Spyro trilogy, Crash trilogy, Crash Nitro Racing, that kind of thing. So there's it's a lot more involved, and that is a lot more interesting to me than just a slight bump in resolution.
Yeah. We've gone silent.
I have gone silent. My apologies.
There we are. I was like,
my mic somehow muted. What did you say? I
did not say anything. I stopped because I couldn't hear you, and I was like, oh, we've gone silent. What
is
this? So.
No, it's there's obviously like a lot more in a remake compared to a remaster, but I guess it's just a quick cash in, little effort.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in they're lazy, they don't do enough. I'm just saying it's a low cost, quick fix of making some money, like, and I can understand why some people don't mind that, because it's then the money then could be funding other games.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, it's just going in the developer's pocket, or the broad's pockets, like.
I mean, what? So for you, what would your what's your limit on remasters in terms of what's the most recent games or most recent generation do you think is acceptable to be remastered?
I don't know. It also like if you go for one game, then I'm not sure. Like a GameCube game, say Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, that one game, just a bit of up-resing would be all right. But for me to buy that, it would have to be low cost as well.
Yeah.
But on top of that, you're then looking at games where there's multiple in a pack. So like Crash is a really good example of value for all you get. So I really don't know there. I'd rather not buy games from last generation. I have got some from last generation where they've been remastered for this gen. So because they've either been in bundles, or they're on Game Pass, or they're in Gold, or they're in Plus, or something like that. But I actively just don't bother. There's no real reason for it. I think one of my favorite remakes over remasters that I've played in the last year or so, might be a bit longer, is probably Wonder Boy and the Dragon's Trap.
Oh, okay. What system was that? Did you get that on?
I got it on the PC. Visually,
on Switch as well.
Yeah, might be on the Wii.
Past there.
Might be the Sega Master System version might be on the Wii, but no, like it's the exact same game, and you can switch between the old school visuals, old school music, and the new stuff. On the fly, which is great. As well as that, you have this fantastic art style to the game.
Yeah.
And yes, it's mighty impressive. And I know that Halo 2 did the whole with the Master Chief Collection. That did the whole you can switch between Halo 2 OG visuals and Halo 2 remastered visuals, which I actually think that's a good way to take it. It's like, oh, this is what it looked like before, now this is what it looked. But I can understand that you can't do that with every game, but...
No.
Yeah.
And with that, I guess, as well, again, that's a remaster worth doing, because when you can... when they give you the option to swap between the two, you can see there's some significant work that's been put in it, because they've had to essentially remake the textures for the whole game.
Yeah.
So it's built it. I don't know how much of a game that would take up, but I would say a fair amount of. That's a good third of a game's worth of remaking to get it to where you need it. You know.
Yeah.
Trying to think. Like, have you got a favorite remaster? Like, when I say sorry, maybe I should word that better. Have you got a game that you preferred the remaster, even though it's almost the same game? Is there a game that you prefer the remaster to the original?
Not off the top of my head. I probably would say Monster Boy would be one like that, simply because of the art style, but the gameplay and everything is exactly the same. And there's also widescreen, whereas before it wasn't. But other than that, I can't really think of any off the top of my head, because I don't buy a lot of remasters.
No. Yeah, I get that.
What about yourself?
Is there anything?
I know a lot of people, sorry for interrupting, I know a lot of people rate Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire because they didn't like those, but they actually much preferred that, and a lot of people I've actually seen say made the games actually good.
I mean, for me, it's not. I'm not a fan of the of that whole generation. So even the remakes, I've played the original and I've played the remake, and it's still not enjoyable for me. I'm trying to think. The only remake that I'd say, sorry, remaster. Nah, even that's more of a remake. I was going to say Fire Red and Leaf Green. Pardon me. What's that? A remaster or a remake?
I'd say that's a remake because it's all new art. Everything about it is.
You could say the same about Omega Ruby and Sapphire, though, couldn't you? That's a remake essentially, because you're building a brand. You have to build the game from the ground up again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but
yeah, I genuinely can't think of like the best remake or remaster, and it's a shame that I can't, like, because it'd be cool to come up with something interesting.
Yeah.
Cricket is saying Fire Red is agreeing they are remakes. I know a lot of people actually disliked Silver and Gold, not Silver and Gold, the remastered Silver and Gold.
Heart Gold, Soul Silver, yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people didn't like the sprites in them games more than anything.
I liked them. I had no problems with those at all. I guess it's arguable, but maybe no. I was gonna say, would Pokemon Yellow be technically a remake on Red and Blue?
No.
That's stretching it a bit, isn't it?
Yeah. It did add some story elements to it, from like with Team Rocket, Jesse and James and that in it, but
yeah.
I suppose the closest you get to a remake of Pokemon Fire Red and Pokemon Red is Pokemon Let's Go.
Yeah, even then that's a remake, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's a tricky one for sure.
But that's kind of also like a pseudo sequel as well. Pseudo sequel remake master.
Yeah, I was gonna say Crick and I think Ocarina of Time 3D is a good one. Based on that, then Wind Waker HD, that's a remaster.
Yeah, it's a remaster, but I find actually a lot of people, not myself because I'm not really that sure on it. A lot of people are very divisive on that, divided on it.
I don't believe that game needs a remaster. I've played it recently on. Okay, I've got a slight advantage, but I've played it again on the GameCube with my HDMI adapter in it, and okay, so I'm playing it at like I'm playing at 576p or I or whatever it is. Either way, like, at not one point did I feel like that I could have done with the remake. Like, there's no reason for a HD remake on that one. Because
I think the game's lovely. I think the problem that people had with that is it makes it look less cell shaded. I think the terms I've heard is it doesn't look cell shaded. It looks more plastic or something. But I don't know.
Yeah.
In the remaster, but
I see that. Yeah.
The thing is though, is with the remaster they did add the better sale, Swift sale I think it's called.
Yeah.
Cheat sale. That could have done with going in there.
Yeah.
So you know,
it's interesting one. But yeah, I'd say, should we move on? I think
I was going to say to move on because I haven't really got much to say. Are you at all interested in giving it a try? The Ghostbusters game. It is a fun game.
Really.
No.
Yeah. Not if it's full price. No, I'm not about that.
No. And there's no release date, just 2019.
Yeah, no. If it's like, honestly, maybe if it comes out on Game Pass, I'll give it a try then. But yeah, otherwise, not interested.
Honestly, if it came to remastering Wind Waker, because Cricken's agreeing with you, the problem you have is if you was to play it on a 1080p TV through the GameCube, normally it wouldn't look as it wouldn't look as nice as what it does on a CRT.
Yeah,
and for other people who are playing on a 4K TV again, it's going to look even worse.
Even worse.
I think all they needed to do was up-res it in some way, and then keep the other aspects the same, because so it got the same exact look to it. It just looks better on a 4K TV. And another thing is another thing about remasters is like some remasters are not as good as the mods you get. Where people do mods for stuff like this SS Gran or whatever it's called, Ezagan, ESRGN, that made Final Fantasy stuff looks really, really nice.
Yeah. Like, also, what was I going to say? Like, okay, you need a PC to do it, but like, again, for Wind Waker, you could get the GameCube quality is in the texture quality, and just put it through Dolphin, and bump the res up that way, and so you still get the original textures. Do you know what I mean? There are better ways of doing things. And what's the point for me? Am I right in saying the Wii U was only doing 720p anyway?
I believe some games were 1080, not many, and then some were 900, and then some were 720. I think it would really vary. Like the Switch has a lot of the games have that I don't know what it's called, but it scales. Wind Waker HD is 1080p according to Cricken.
1080p.
The thing is with Dolphin, someone posted pictures of Dolphin on GRcade, Wind Waker in Dolphin, and Wind Waker GameCube image, and Wind Waker Remaster, and the Dolphin version looked by far the nicest.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Anyway, we shall move on now because we've talked enough about remasters when we really don't bother with them. No. Well, I don't anyway. Not about Doom. Maybe Doom's a remaster man or something. No. Anyway, what was we going to talk about next? Let's find out. Let's find out by clicking the next image. It is Super Mario Maker. I only wanted to bring this up. There hasn't been a direct or anything since the last time we spoke about it, and I can't even remember if we spoke about it last time. I just wanted to mention that Super Mario Maker 2 has online multiplayer. Right? But what you cannot... You cutting out, man? Hello? Dude? You sound like a Dalek, but even harder to understand, man. Hello? You back? You back? Oh, for fuck.
No.
Hey, right. What I was going to say is Super Mario Maker 2 is online. The problem with it being online is...
Am I sounding right?
You are yeah, you're cutting out. Hello? Why do we always have these technical issues? Sometimes I have these technical issues. Ooh. Well, I guess I'll just... Okay, Doom is gone. Doom is back.
Hello, there we go. I don't know what the hell happened then. It was my connection to the server seemed to, it was going all over the place. It was going down to the red, back up to green, down to red, and then I just couldn't hear anything. So I thought,
yeah, it can be like a bloody...
No, I didn't fall asleep, Cricken. How dare you?
You did. Anyway, what I was going to say is that Super Mario Maker 2 has online play, just like a lot of Switch games that now we pay for.
Yeah.
And Nintendo are very strange. Like in a lot of older games, you can't talk to people. You can't talk to people. You can only talk to friends. You can only add people and only play with friends. But Super Mario Maker 2 does the opposite. You could only play with random people. The reason being, the reason that actually came from, I believe, this came from Nintendo PR or Nintendo at all, is leaderboards. They don't want friends cheating on leaderboards.
Well, just what?
Friends leaderboard?
That doesn't make any sense.
Worldwide
just have a
leaderboard.
friends leaderboard, or if you have a private like a private game, just don't include it as part of the leaderboard. It's easy.
But
it's easy to fix.
Also, you can play as a group. Say me, you, and like I know Cricken and Graham, were all in the same room. We could play and do the multiplayer stuff, and our scores would be uploaded to the leaderboards.
Yeah. Oh my good gosh, that is shocking.
It is ridiculous, and I am very unimpressed with Nintendo. And if they want to, they just need to pull their fingers out of their asses, because it's getting ridiculous now.
Like, I'm not being funny, but like Mario Maker, it's not okay. It's not like, pardon me, it's not the biggest pull that they've got in their arsenal, but it's a fairly big pull because Mario Maker was very popular.
Mario Maker was people. Some of the biggest streams now on Twitch is Mario Maker. Yeah, it's massive. Like,
I'm not being funny, but like they are shooting themselves in the foot. What I do not understand what the problem is. Like,
I know. Could you imagine? When it comes to Twitch, or if you stream on even Mixer, when Twitch adds the ability like Mixer has to do the co-streams.
Yeah.
You have 3 friends all playing Super Mario Maker, all competing on the same stuff, or even working together, and you've got the full streams together. I know there's the thing that Jasm and I use for racing, but that's not the same because the chats are not combined and so on and so forth, whereas they'll Mixer. So at the end of the day, it's a massive disappointment, and not just that. It's really, really made me. I'm not going to play online.
No.
I'm not, because I don't want to play with random people, because I don't like random people. Random people smell.
It's the stupidest idea I think they've come up with so far. And bearing in mind the last episode, me and Kill was speaking fairly negatively on Mario Maker 2 anyway.
I know.
This is not helping their case.
I was disappointed with that because there's so much added to that game. If you look at the at the Direct.
The thing is, though, this announcement could really like kill off a lot of people for wanting to play. Because how many people want to play this game with friends, only friends? Like there might be a group of people that there could be like 4 or 5 of you who are really into Mario Maker, and you love competing with each other. Now, the only way to compete with each other is get the highest position on a leaderboard, and then text your friend and brag about it, and that's literally all you can do. There's
crap.
Oh my good, and for me it's inconceivable. I do not understand where that logic comes from at all. I think it's idiotic.
I think Nintendo's problem in general with online is they don't get it.
No,
Like I think they've moved on a lot since the Wii, in some respects, but they still lagging behind. And I don't know if it's because they're a Japanese company, and in Japan, for them at least, local multiplayer is a lot better. So maybe that's the case.
There's a much more. Yeah, I think you're right there. Japan has got a really good, like, active community. When I say active, as in like people willing to go over other people's houses and stuff like that. And I got to be honest, I love that idea. I like, if given the option, I'd host like game nights, and I've got no issues with doing that. I'm not really in the position to do that at the moment, but we're looking to buy a house soon, and if we buy a place and it's and I'm in a position to do it, I probably will want to start hosting game nights. Do you know what I mean? Because I like the idea of it, but not everyone wants to do that. It's not something that everyone wants to do, and
Right, I need to ask you, if you do get your own when you do get your own place, are you going to be doing rooftop parties with barbecues?
First thing I'm doing, rooftop party with switches
and barbecues.
And barbecues, yeah.
You barely earn cricket. You will be doing rooftop parties with barbecues.
And you're all invited. You're all invited.
Woo!
Like,
nice.
I'm gonna stop thinking about it, because it's confusing
stupid.
me, and it's making my head hurt.
The thing is, though, is the PlayStation is also a Sony company. It's also a Japanese company, but their online is
fine,
way better.
They get it, though. Is it? No, I was going to say Nintendo have had Nintendo of America for a while. I was going to say it's nothing to do with that. I wouldn't have.
Sure,
thought.
Nintendo America been around since like the 80s, 90s, or
yeah.
So, I don't get it. And like I said, I didn't want to talk a lot about Super Mario Maker 2 because we discussed it quite a bit last week. But I did want to raise that issue and say, Nintendo, pull your fucking fingers out, you dirty, dirty, silly bastards. Oh, why are they dirty? They're just stupid.
Yeah.
I think it is going to quash some sales. I don't know how much of an impact it will have, because a lot of people enjoy playing Super Mario Maker 1 without it. But when you know there's online multiplayer, competitive and cooperative, people are then who like playing online with friends are going to be like, oh, this is cool. And then, nope, we're taking that away from you guys who want to play with your friends, because we don't like friendship. We're all about what they used to do back in the day, sex houses. Yeah,
sex houses. It's shocking, but no. I don't know. I don't understand it personally. As I said, personally, when I'm in the position to do it, I will be. I'm gonna try and do like a monthly game night thing and try and get some people around, and
that'd be cool.
And make a thing of it, and get a few TVs set up and do it properly. But as I said, that doesn't change the fact that Nintendo are idiots on this. Thing is, though, is they make really, really stupid decisions on this, and yet they're still one of the most successful game companies of all time. It shows you. Can you imagine? Can you imagine how well they could do if they stop making these weird decisions and they just and all of a sudden they become something? But then again, is it the quirkiness of Nintendo which keeps them going? And when I say quirkiness, in like they make these weird decisions sometimes, but then look at the other side of their quirkiness. Like, no other company thought about making a Switch. No other company thought about making a Wii. Like it's that quirk which is making them so successful. So I guess
I don't know. I don't know. I think it's, for me, Nintendo, the reason I still buy them is because the games are fucking great.
Yeah.
The games they make are great. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy the other companies' stuff, and I have that stuff for multiplayer. Multi-platform stuff. I'm not going to really buy it on the Switch when I can get it on a console that is likely to play it better, or PC which will play it better. But the Nintendo games themselves are top notch, and they do get exclusives on there that not just Nintendo made that are also good. So I think that it all comes down, for me personally, it comes down to their games. If their games started having these stupid issues in general, and I don't mean like you can't play online with your friends, but they just started becoming bad game makers, then I wouldn't bother with it at all. No. But then who would? That's a stupid thing to say, really, because no one's going to want to except for the diehard idiots. I mean, fans. Sorry. I'm only joking. Love Nintendo. Like a friend. Anyway, next up is...
Pokemon.
It is Pokemon. Did you watch the Direct?
I did.
Was it a Direct? Yeah, it was a Direct. You did watch it.
I did.
Did you instantly get an erection when you saw the sheep Pokemon?
It was everything I could do to contain myself.
I was so excited, I wet myself.
Yeah, I had to go and take a very long cold shower. A very, very long cold shower.
You filthy boy. Anyway, I am liking the look of it myself. It looks like it's got open areas to do some random stuff in. So,
should I tell you what it smacks of immediately?
Breath of the Wild?
Yeah, they've gone, oh, that Breath of the Wild game sold well. What else could we design a game around like that? Oh, yeah. Bang, Pokemon. And honestly, it's probably the best. Like, if they were going to Breath of the Wild up a game, Pokemon is the game to do it. It's the right, even the aesthetic is similar. They got the right aesthetic for Breath of the Wild as they do for Pokemon. There's a definite, like, if you look at Sun and Moon, Sword and Shield, and then look at Breath of the Wild, there's a definite similarity in the visually. You know, there's a lot of inspiration there. They've picked the right game to do it for sure. Yes, it looks very, very pretty. Looks dynamic. Looks like there's lots of open areas.
One thing, yesterday now they showed a couple of new Pokemon, right? I think it was like 4.
Yes.
5 at the most. I was a little disappointed with the amounts. It's not so much that I would like to have seen the evolutions of the start Pokemon.
I was thinking there should have been that.
Because what I tend to do is I tend to avoid finding what they look like before. So I see what they look like at the start in the base form, and then I don't bother checking. And after the amount of times I've been stung by getting a fire type, and because I usually prefer the look of the starter fire types. Yeah. So I tend to go for them more often than not. And then every time I do, because I'm like, oh, this looks cool. This Pokemon looks cool. Yeah. And then it evolves into this. I end up with shit in my face by the time it evolves. So it's like, this time I'm actually wanting to see what they look like before I make a decision. Yeah. It's like Decidueye in Sun and Moon is by far the best of the 3 final forms in my opinion. And but I didn't really like Rowlet. So I didn't go for it. No. But looking at it now, looking at the final thing, it's like, I wish I'd gone for that.
I didn't mind. What was the final form of the fire type called?
Incineroar.
Incineroar. That's it. I didn't mind that look. I did feel like it was. I did feel it was maybe a little too human-like. A little too human-like, but. I liked it mainly because it was very like Macho Man Randy Savage, so it was a bit ridiculous, and that's why I liked it.
Thing is, I think it's a fire dark type, but you can clearly see it was designed to be a firefighting type. And they thought, do you know what?
Dark is a weird...
do you know what? They probably looked back and thought, right, firefighting. Oh shit, we've designed another firefighting. Let's just pretend it's dark and fire. Yeah, we'll do that.
I guarantee you, 100%. The final evolution of Score Bunny is a firefighting type. I guarantee it. I'll put everything on the line to say that. Like, if it's not, I'm gonna eat my GameCube collection.
Oh, please don't.
Just by the look of it, like it looks straight away. It looks like a Pokemon that's gonna get physical. It's gonna be a firefighting type.
I hope not. I like all 3 starters though myself.
I'm all about Sobble, to be honest. I'm looking forward to Sobble. I always go water type though. Always.
I usually go fire type, but I don't care about the typing. I care more about what they look like. like my party in Pokemon, I don't play competitively at all in any way, shape, or form. I literally play the game to the end, and I go for whatever I catch and I like the look of the most, I'll keep. Unless, for the most part, like I won't have like, oh, these 6 psychic Pokemon look the best. I'll have all 6 psychic Pokemon. My team will smash anything that's not gonna get in psychic types. I wouldn't do that.
No.
But like, you know, it's that kind of thing for me. I was really, really happy with the look of the game.
Yes.
I think it looked really nice. The wild areas.
Breath of the Pokemon, isn't it?
It is, yeah. But with the wild areas, you actually got roaming Pokemon, which people have wanted for years. I know it happened in Let's Go, and I'm glad they've kept that for the main series.
I still hate the fact that you can't have a partner Pokemon walk with you. I do not understand what the problem with this is. Like, they did it for Pokemon Yellow, they did it for Fire Red and Leaf Green, and then they've done it for Let's Go. Not Fire Red and Leaf Green, sorry. Hearts Gold and Soul Silver, and they've done it for Let's Go. Why? Like, why can't you have your own partner Pokemon follow you around? What is the problem with putting it in? I don't understand.
Only thing I can think of is time animations and that kind of thing. Like, they'd have to animate every Pokemon walking around. I know they did it for Let's Go, but in there's 150-ish Pokemon. I say ish because you've got the Alolan forms. In this, you're going to have like 1,000 Pokemon.
Yeah.
So I think that will be a big thing about it, because they'll have to animate every single one walking on different terrain. I
want to say, for me, it's not a kicker for me at all. I'm buying the game regardless.
Oh, yeah.
I'm probably buying both of them regardless. But I just want it. I just want it so bad. Yeah. Why can't they give it to me?
Do you know what though? Do you know I'm gutted that there's a Lapras in Pokemon?
Yep.
Because you've already got your Loch Ness Monster style Pokemon for like the Scotland region. You know what I mean? You're not gonna have a Loch Ness Monster unless they do another similar, or maybe they give her a some kind of evolution that you can only do in that area somehow. That would be daft. Only in the loch. What would be cool is if they do like a Welsh Dragon style Pokemon.
Yeah.
Because the Welsh Dragon is cool as fuck. Don't care what anyone says.
I doubt it, but it would be cool if they did
It'd basically be like Charizard on all fours.
I was going to say, if you think about it, there is no red dragon type. Like, there's no dragon types that are red.
Yeah.
Charizard's orange.
There's an image on Twitter that I saw. I see if I can see it now quickly. It was a person in one of the stadium fights. It shows the crowd, and in this crowd, it shows this weird. Let's see if I can put it in Discord for you to see. It will be in general if it works. That t-shirt, people suspect it's a new Pokemon. For those who obviously can't see my Discord right now, I will put it in chat. You can click the link and check it out.
It looks a bit like Pachirisu.
I don't know, but people are suspecting it's a new Pokemon.
Could be.
Funny if it is.
You know what I reckon I know what that is. That's a squirrel type. That's a squirrel Pokemon, guaranteed. 100%. What's a very British thing? Squirrels. We got a lot of them.
Oh, please tell me Conker's going to be in the new Pokemon game.
It's a squirrel. I guarantee you that is a squirrel. Whatever it is, it's based on a squirrel.
His t-shirt, mon. Yeah. No, but it could be. But that's the thing now. People are going to look through those videos to see if there's any hints of other Pokemon you don't see in there. Yeah. But what do you think about the new Dynamaxing? I need some kind of sound effect for doing things like that.
The Dynamaxing.
I have got a sound effect board on my PC.
I have. I don't know. I don't want to comment too early on it, but I'm not overly impressed with what I've seen so far.
To me,
because it just honestly, it looks a little bit lame. It literally kind of looks like they've gone, shit, we need a gimmick, but we can't think of one. I had no problems with Mega Evolutions. They were cool as shit. Z-type moves, I didn't mind them either. I thought they were pretty cool. And then we had... Is there anything else? Or that's it. Far, isn't it? Yeah. That's it. And I just kind of feel like they went, right, we need a gimmick. We've already done Mega Evolution. We've already done Z moves. We need something else. And let's just make the Pokemon giant. Like, to me, that kind of says to me like they've run out of gimmick ideas and they just went, well, let's just make the Pokemon massive. Like, I just don't... It's a bit... Like, especially because Mega Evolutions really set... I personally think they really set the bar because they designed, like, I can't remember, is it 20-something Pokemon? It's something like that, isn't it? 20-odd Pokemon that can use the Mega Evolution stones.
Yeah.
And you know, so they designed whole new evolutions essentially for those Pokemon, and they looked really cool. Like, they'd done a lot of work in. Personally, and the Z moves, they're pretty cool, but I would have preferred more Mega Evolutions. Personally, I don't understand why they just stuck with Mega Evolutions and added to them instead of doing Z moves and instead of doing Dynamaxing. Just why couldn't they just add more Mega Evolutions? Is the point that they don't want too many Mega Evolution Pokemon? Because before you know it, everything will be Mega Evolution.
Yeah. I don't know, but it seems different in it. It's like with Mega Evolution, you can evolve your Pokemon, and it'll stay evolved for Mega Evolve for that battle. So if you take it out and put it back, take it in to a ball and put it back, it stays Mega Evolved, doesn't it? I think.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
So you've constantly got that Pokemon. Like, if it starts to get its ass kicked, you can quickly drag it back in, heal it up, or something else is taking a beating, and then chuck it back out. Whereas the Z moves or Z moves, you have to be strategic in when you use it, because you can only use it once, I believe. I might be wrong. And with this, it seems to be, again, a more tactical way of doing of using it, unlike the Z moves, unlike the Mega Evolutions, where you use it, only one Pokemon can use it in a battle, and it only lasts for 3 turns.
Yeah.
So I think it was a way to introduce something that is different, but also easy to do, but also give it a more strategical edge, more strategy than just using the Mega Evolution. Don't get me wrong, using the Mega Evolution at the right time with the right Pokemon. But when I was playing through, when I played through X and Y and I got Mega Evolution, I would just Mega Evolve my Pokemon and smash whatever was in my way.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think the problem I've got with it is, ironically, it's the opposite to the Mega Evolution thing, where personally I would like to have thought that they could have added to the Mega Evolution. So I'm not saying every Pokemon needed a Mega Evolution, but I think they could have added, even if they just add like 4 or 5 every generation.
Oh, I wouldn't say no to that.
No. But I personally think the problem with the Dynamaxing is any Pokemon could be Dynamaxed, and I think so. It's the opposite problem. I've got the opposite problem with Dynamaxing is I don't think you should be able to. Was it Grookey, the new grass starter, which is a tiny little chimp, can grow to the size of like a building. I just think it looks wrong. Like, I think there should be certain, but like with Mega Evolutions, there should be certain Pokemon that have that ability to Dynamax. They don't have to be big Pokemon anyway, but I just don't like the fact that you're going to have by the looks of it, any Pokemon can Dynamax. If Grookey can Dynamax, anything can Dynamax, and then that gimmick then will be overused. Where at least with Mega Evolutions, you only have a select one of 23 or 4, whatever it is, Pokemon that can do it. Z moves, it doesn't matter. Anyone can use a Z move, but that doesn't matter because it's a one hit thing, and that's it. It's over and done with. This Dynamaxing thing, I just think that's the problem for me. Anything can use it, and I don't like that. You know, why couldn't they do the same thing? Maybe you have to, like, certain Pokemon have, because then there's a backstory behind it. Then, like with the Mega Evolution, the Mega Stones, they've developed a whole backstory for where they've come from and why only certain Pokemon can use them at the moment and stuff. They could have done like a whole backstory about it, and that was like an extra part of the game where they're going into detail about why only X, Y, and Z Pokemon can have developed the ability to Dynamax. They were able to expend all that energy rather than just have a Pidgey. I'm not being funny. You're going to be able to Dynamax a Pidgey or a Rattata, and that just kills it for me because it's just like, oh, it's not special then. Mega Evolutions feels special. This doesn't.
I get what you're saying. The one thing I think it said in the Direct is when they were on about gyms with Dynamax, they said the gyms, the stadium, have been built on certain places where Pokemon could Dynamax. So I wondering if there is going to be a backstory as to why all Pokemon could Dynamax in these areas, but it does sound like that you can only Dynamax in certain areas. So
it helps, I guess, because if you could Dynamax every
fight,
that would get stupid. That would get stupid for me.
But then again, like I said, for me, using Mega Evolutions, it wouldn't matter. As soon as I could use Mega Evolutions, I would Mega Evolve straight away, fuck everything up, and it wouldn't be a problem.
But that's fine, because the thing I liked about the Mega Evolutions, for instance, and even with the Z moves, because not every Pokemon could have a Z move, was you'd be fighting a random trainer, and all of a sudden they whip out a Mega Evolution Pokemon, and you're like, and it's a genuine like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that moment. Where if every Pokemon, like, I mean, like you said, I assume there'll only be certain areas, but do you know what I mean? The reason why Z moves and Mega Evolutions work is because not every Pokemon has it. And so therefore, when you're fighting a random trainer, yes, you can Mega Evolution every time, you can Z move every time because you know what Pokemon you've got. But it's kind of cool when you come across a random trainer and you're like, you're kind of taking him on and you're easily beating him, and all of a sudden he pulls out a Blastoise. That's the first one I can think of. And before you, and you're using a Mega Evolution Charizard or something, and all of a sudden then he Mega Evolves him, and and all of a sudden there's that moment when you kind of go, okay, this suddenly isn't going to be so easy. And
it's a good thing I taught my Charizard Thunder Punch.
But you see what I mean? Is it's that unexpected thing where if you know every gym battle, then again every gym battle had a Mega Evolution, didn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I think that Z moves. I don't know about Mega Evolution. I think it came quite late into the game. Even I don't think you could use Mega Evolutions until like you beat the last but one gym or lost gym or something.
Yeah, there might be that.
So for the most part, you couldn't use for most of the game. You couldn't use it anyway. It was an end game thing, I think. So it's been a while. So
what's the smallest Pokemon available? I'm trying to think what it is.
Caterpie?
Caterpie or a Grubbin or something in it. That's the first thing I'm doing. I'm going to Dynamax a Caterpie because I can.
I'm going to Dynamax Steelix. Yeah.
What happens when you Dynamax a Whale Lord, which is the biggest Pokemon in all games? What happens?
It fills the stadium, everyone dies.
Everyone dies, yeah. You just crush everyone.
You run outside quickly. Dynamax! Dead. Everyone's dead, I win. I didn't say I want to be a champion. I said I wanted to rule the world. But all they can do is rule England because that seems to be the only place in the world that you can Dynamax.
Dynamax, yeah. So as long as they come to you, you can rule them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds flawed.
As long as if it is in certain places, you have to somehow trick them to go into a stadium every time. What do you think about the what do you think of the multiplayer raids?
I like them. I think they're quite cool. I like them.
And I think you can do it with your friends as well.
Yes. I think you're right. I think that could be quite really cool. I gotta be honest. Could you say there might be a slight issue later on down the line? I doubt it, because it's going to be a very popular game. But is it a case of they'll only matchmake you to other people who are attempting that particular raid, which is fine. But
the
as the game gets a bit older, are you going to start? When I say older, for the first few months you won't have a problem, but maybe a year down the line, when most people have played it, are you going to get?
I think you might have. I think you'll have trouble to jump in with random people. But the good thing is you can ask your friends if you've got any.
Friends, that would be
Also, I do believe you can do with AI partners as well. So you don't have to do it online only.
Oh, okay.
You can have it with friends.
Okay, that kind of makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
The thing is, with the raids as well, is if like they said that some Pokemon you only get in the raids.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. But if there's no other reason to the raids other than catching these specific Pokemon, even if 6 months down the line no one will play the game for some reason ever, and you can't get anyone to join in with you, for some reason even the AI partner's like, I don't want to play with you, and you're like, oh bugger, I can't do the raids, I can't get these Pokemon, then you just go onto the trade thing and just say, can you trade me this Pokemon?
Yeah.
So I don't think you're going to lose out in that set. You lose out in the experience of doing it, not XP wise. I mean the actual, oh, I done this, it was fun. You'll lose out on that. But I don't think you will lose out on any Pokemon. I think you could use the global trade network, or whatever it's called.
Yeah, there is that, yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Which one are you buying, Sword or Shield?
Shield.
Why?
I'm like that person who likes to try and buy the opposite to what most people will, only from the perspective of it's easier to trade with people. If you get the one that everyone's getting, it's a bit difficult. It's a bit more difficult to find. Where if you get the one that's going to be less popular, and I say less popular, they're still very popular. I just feel like you've got a little more leverage on trades. So,
that's fair enough.
For instance, I preferred blue over red. I got gold over silver. I went for...
Gold was more popular, wasn't it, than silver?
No, silver was more popular, I believe.
Nah, I reckon it was gold.
Oh, I don't know.
I reckon it's gotta be gold. People wanted that stupid bird out of the first anime episode.
You say that, but more people, from what I know, more people wanted Lugia. Because they released the movie not long after and it featured Lugia. And I want to say more people wanted Lugia than they did Ho-Oh. I might be wrong though, but either way, I've always tried to go for I went for Pokemon Pearl instead of Diamond, White instead of Black. Do you know what I mean? And also, honestly, I kind of prefer the design of the legendary Pokemon.
Really?
The Shield one looks.
I think it looks
cool as hell.
Awful. It looks really, really bad. I actually called it cool. Poker shit because it looks fucking. I genuinely hated it. It doesn't suit the whole. It's like if it was to try and have a drink, his head shield thing would get stuck into the floor and then it would die of dehydration.
Maybe a shield goes soft when it's not being used.
Maybe it's a penis now, is it?
Yeah. Maybe it looks like a shield, but it's soft and malleable. But then as soon as the heat of battle kicks in, it gets hard and he goes for it. It's the adrenaline. The adrenaline gets him hard and then he goes. That's my theory anyway. I'm saying the legendary Pokemon in Shield, I can't remember his name. It's an awkward name. I'm saying he gets hard with during a battle. That's
I don't like it at all. See, I think it looks really, really bad. If you have a look at it again, have a look at the where it's just standing there with its shield glowing. It just looks really daft. That's my opinion, but I genuinely think it looks fucking awful. Whereas the shield one looks better, and the sword one looks better simply because there was a stupid shield stuck to his head.
The sword one looks sleeker, but I would like, and I assume they'll tell us why. Like, why it's carrying a sword in its mouth. It seems a little
because
awkward.
they thought Dark Souls was cool. Let's get a wolf with a sword in its mouth. Which is why I'm calling it poker sif and poker shit.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. The thing is it's a shame because actually it's not a shame. What the hell am I on about? What is the relevance with wolves with Pokemon and the UK?
And the UK, I don't know, because we're not exactly famous for wolves.
No, it should be...
Couldn't they? Pigeons.
Pigeons, squirrels.
Pigeons. Yeah, I'd like to see a pigeon with a sword and a pigeon with a shield.
Yeah.
And the shield could be its wings.
Its wing, yeah, exactly. And then the sword can be its beak.
Yeah.
Or its tail.
We just fixed the new legendaries.
Like, the only thing I can think of is someone was saying before, what's wolves got to do with the UK other than the English people, the English acting and stuff in Game of Thrones with some of the characters of wolves? Is that what Game Freak looked at and thought, you know what? England like wolves. Clearly, England are all about wolves. The dragons are from a different country. We bugger them. We'll have wolves.
Yeah.
After watching some Game of Thrones.
I want to know what types. I'm assuming they're going to be steel types. Steel fighting, steel fairy, steel... Won't be steel dragon. Steel fairy? Steel...
Cucumber.
Steel cucumber? I like. Steel fighting? I don't know.
I'm trying to find, while I'm talking to you, the game sales of the Pokemon games, but I just can't.
Oh, for gold and silver?
Pokemon Gold versus Silver sales. I could tell you the overall sales that I could see, but I couldn't see a individual thing. Oh well, it matters not.
No.
I was trying to look at them all in general. The thing is I actually was going to get Pokemon Shield, and then I saw the legendary. I was like, I'm getting Sword. Also, I was a Pokemon Blue guy, so Sword is blue, Shield is red. I'm going for blue.
Yeah. What was I say?
And the thing is I can understand what you were saying about the whole trading thing. If you go back about 4 generations, with online now, everyone's going to have all the Pokemon within about a week.
It's true. It's not hard to come across, but you know, I guess I was thinking more for friends, for people that I'll see regularly.
I don't know what they are.
What do you think of the 360 camera that we finally have camera controls?
Well, I think it's very cool to finally have a full 360 camera. It'll make for exploring and just looking around a lot better, because it's always fixed camera in the Pokemon games. I don't mind fixed camera and stuff, but having the flexibility to just nose around and look around and say, oh look, there's a Pokemon over there, I can go catch, whereas you couldn't do that before, really.
No, you're right.
But it's a shame that it's only in the wild areas, I think. Like in the cities and stuff, you're stuck with fixed cameras again. Which I guess isn't too bad, because you don't need to look around as much as what you would out in the wild.
No. And maybe they've done it as a design choice for the system, because if you... the built-up areas are notorious for using up resources when you're moving around. So what they probably wanted to do is build up the towns and cities more, but they don't want... But it would take... I would say there would be quite a big performance hit if you had a 360 camera, because normally these big built-up areas, you start spinning the camera around in those, and the Switch isn't the most powerful a system. It might struggle. The resolution might start dropping quite heavily, or frame rate, or whatever they're focusing on. I'm thinking it was a design choice for that, I think they're thinking we want to build up the cities, we want to make them with plenty of detail, but that 360 camera is going to cause problems with things. Like people are going to be moving that camera around a lot. They're going to have things spawn in and out all the time to make it work. And I just think the system is a little limited to be doing that. So I think they've sacrificed the camera for a more detailed town and city.
Yeah. The thing is for me personally, if I was to be looking around and the resolution dropped from 1080p to 900p,
yeah,
and that would be fine. It's not as noticeable as something like your game is running lovely at 60 frames per second and it drops to 12.
Yeah.
Or even drops to 30. You're going to notice something like that. So I think that would be okay. But I think the simple fact that, because it's in a big area where you have Pokemon walking around, it makes most... I think even looking at it from just a sensical, if that's even a word, point of view, you have... Like, in the towns, you're going to be, like, walking around in specific paths. It's not, the towns and cities don't look like they're going to be just like a big area with houses dotted like miles around. It's going to be like streets you walk through. So you're not going to really need that whole 3D cam. Whereas when you're out in the field, just walking around, you're like, well, let's see what Pokemon are around. You can like look around and you're like, oh, look, there's a Ho-Oh over there. There's not going to be a Ho-Oh over there. Oh, look, there's a Pikachu over there. And then you run and if Nick was here, he would describe what he would do to said Pikachu. And it would not be very nice.
It's NSFW, NSFW, not safe for work.
Not safe for me. Oh, the stuff he says. Oh, awful. Very nasty. Is there anything else you would like to say about Pokemon? Guys, before we move on to E3, chat, which will also contain a little bit of Stadia, even though it's not technically E3, but it kind of is just before.
Yeah.
I was wondering, is there anything... Pre-3, yeah. Is there anything you would like to say about the Pokemon Direct or any of the other stuff we talked about? And even if it's like asking a question of something you noticed, and you might like to see if we agree or disagree. Like, everyone obviously agrees that the Shield Pokemon is shit compared to the Sword Pokemon.
Just wanted to reiterate on the Shield's legendary.
Well, that is shit. That is literally... I actually don't mind the rest of the design. It's the actual shield on his face that looks awful.
Am I the only one who thinks it looks cool? Somebody mentioned it on the GRcade forum that it looks like a Power Ranger baddie, and that made me like it even more. I was like, oh,
it doesn't. Better. Lewis D is wrong. It doesn't look like a bloody Power Ranger baddie. It's nowhere near that cool.
Power Ranger baddies were the best.
Well, yeah, no. If it wasn't for that big stupid shield on it, I would think it'd be really cool. It's literally that shield on it that just... It looks stupid because of it. I'm
trying to think what else did they bring up on the Pokemon thing. Obviously, we saw a couple of the Pokemon. So obviously there was... What was it called? Wooloo, wasn't it? That was the sheep Pokemon. We had... I'm trying to think of their names now.
That weird big bird thing?
Yeah, Scorvanite. That looks really cool.
Yeah.
Did you know Scorvanite is as big as a Dragonite?
7 odd foot, yeah. Really cool. Yeah.
So that's going to be pretty cool. And it's all black and it's really cool. I think that could be... That could potentially be really cool. There's a thing, can't remember what it's called. Dread Claw, something, I don't know.
Right, guys, here you go, look. Here is a drone image of them. Come on now. Which one's better? That would look cool if that was not a big shield like that. Let's be honest. With that there, this shield here It looks terrible.
I think it looks really cool. That actually, now that I've seen it again, reminds me of the Green Ranger's gold armor thing he has. Remember, the Green Ranger had that gold thing on. That's
yeah, to be fair, he did have a gold thing on, but it was stuck to his chest. If that was stuck to his chest and went underneath there, it might actually look a bit better than this big, stupid metal-looking thing hanging from his face. I would love to see something, an animal actually walking around with something that probably weighs 10 stone stuck to his neck.
craning off his neck. Yeah. Although what I did notice was these side bits that flare out. They, as far as I'm aware, they kind of fold down to the side, so they cover just the sides of his legs, his front legs. They fold inwards, so so he looks a bit sleeker. And then when he gets into his battle form, which I guess is that, they kind of like pop out. It's like a cobra's, it kind of flicks out. So
maybe I don't know.
I thought it was cool.
Yeah, maybe. I don't like it. Sorry, I don't. I just think it looks fucking ugly. It's literally made me. It's literally made me buy the other version of the game. I was going to buy Shield. Now I'm not.
Yeah, it's fair enough. But yeah, I'll be buying
The
Shield.
Shield Pokemon looks funny. The Sword one looks cool. Kricken is true. It looks funny, as in stupid, as in the Sword one looks cool. Pokesif. I bet you any money 90% of the people who's played Dark Souls and is going to play this is going to name their legendary with a sword Sif. Even though Sif dies.
Who is Sif? Is that anyone important?
This Sif is in Dark Souls. I will show you now. Sif Dark Souls. It's funny. You type in Sif for Dark Souls and like put the Pokemon stuff comes up. This is Sif. Look at this image is. Bad image. So yeah, anyway, with Sif, you've got this really cool fucking wolf with a giganto sword in his face. There you go, look. There's a site here. Let's quickly switch there. So you've got Pokemon.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And then Sif.
Yeah, I see. That's cool.
Interesting, huh?
Yeah.
So yeah, we are gonna move on from Pokemon then, because as everyone says, Pokemon Sword has the better legendary. But one thing I will say though, which is interesting about the trailer when it showed them, is like wind flicked up in the air, like leaves or something shot up, and then they kind of prepared for battles while looking at the air. So is there going to be some kind of? I hope not, but it could be a thing, because don't they do that in Black and White too? The two legendaries there.
I reckon we're going full Megazord on this one.
We're going full on Digimon, are we?
Full Megazord, Power Ranger Megazords. I can see it. It's gonna happen.
Well, if Tommy pops up and starts playing his flute and he goes, and then they fuse, and then a Dragon Zord comes in, and then they all fight, and Godzilla somehow comes along, and
Dragon Zord was the best. It was the best. It was. That is much. I was a child when Power Rangers was out, so I grew up with it, and oh my god, it was amazing. Dragon Zord was the coolest thing in the world. Yeah, I even remember the thing he had to play.
I don't. So cool. It's been a long time since I watched Power Rangers. Right, we shall now move on to talking about E3, but we'll mention Stadia first. I'm just going to change, because I couldn't be bothered to add a new source for an image, because do you know what, this GRcade podcast, Twitchcast, whatever you want to call it, has literally more sources than I have had cooked dinners. So we're going to be talking about E3 in a second, but first we're going to mention Stadia. And what I would like to know is, Doom.
Yes.
You watched the video.
Yes.
After watching the video, did you think Actually, I'm willing to give this a try.
Yes, but not based on what they've announced for release. So, I don't think. Oh no, Baldur's Gate looked pretty cool.
Hmm. Remember, that is the third one in the series.
Yeah. Based on their launch lineup, no.
Thing is, we don't know what else is going to be added to it, do we?
No, and I've got the perfect connection to run it. You know, I'm download speeds. I'm running at 380 meg download speed. So 4K HDR, 60 frames it'll piss that, which is fine. I don't have a 4K TV yet, but I'd hope to get one anyway before that comes out. But I like the idea, and I like what it could potentially do.
See, I'm personally willing to give it a bash. Simple reason is, if you think about it this way, you're basically paying. It's like, I don't really like the idea of streaming. I don't like the idea of game rentals, but it's basically going onto your computer, slapping your browser on, to use Chrome, and then basically having what amounts to Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah. Because especially if you go for the, was it Stadia Pro or whatever it's called, where
Stadia Pro is like
$9.99 a month. Well, that's dollars, so that'll probably be $8.99.
Yeah, $8.99.
£8.99, and they said they'll give you games every month, which are added to your library and stuff like that. So they haven't said what games, but they, it could be quite good. I mean, $9.99 is a good price. I mean, $8.99 is a good price. Bearing in mind, Game Pass is $8.99 or $7.99 or whatever it is. And Game Pass is an extraordinary good thing. Here's the thing, though: are they going to be able to do what Microsoft can do? Bearing in mind, Microsoft are literally giving us exclusive games for free. We're getting, like, you get any future Halo, you're getting your Gears of Wars, you're getting your Forzas. They're all brand new games. Sea of Thieves, like, they all come on release. You don't have to pay for them. Like, Google don't have that pull. They don't have exclusive games. They don't have their own studios.
That is true. The one thing they do have is money to pay other people for that privilege.
Yeah. And so if they suddenly say, like, if you go with Stadia Pro, you're getting Call of Duty on release day. Like, do you know what I mean?
It'll fly,
games of that caliber. But realistically, to make me really interested, that's what they're gonna have to provide, because, like, otherwise, at the moment, all I see Stadia as is a port beast. That's all it is. It's just ports of games that can be run at 4K 60 frames. That's all I see it as. There's nothing. It is cool, but I guarantee. Here's the thing, right? So here's the thing. If you want the Pro version, the way they worded it tells me something as well. So they said that with the if you pay for Stadia Pro, you're getting the full 4K 60 frames a second experience. That tells me you can only get 4K if you pay for the Pro, which it kind of makes sense, I guess, because of the amount of resources you're using to push that. I get it. But what was I going to say? I've lost my train of thought now. Yeah, so
you were saying about the 4K and the Pro.
Nope, it's gone. It's totally gone.
All right. Well,
no, sorry. There it is. It's back.
It's back. Hey! It's gone again.
Okay. Other than that, they're basically saying Stadia is free to use. When I say free to use, in terms of you don't have to pay. Upon buying a controller and a Chromecast, if you need a Chromecast Ultra, that's all you need to buy. You're not paying for you don't need to pay for Xbox Live service. It's like it's all included. Like
Yeah.
you can just all they're saying is you can pay for Pro and get some games included, or don't pay for Pro, and that'll probably limit you to 1080p. I would have thought 60 frames 1080p. I would have thought that's what they're going to do, but you can just pay for any games you want, and they're yours to own. As they said, they're yours to own, even though they're not really. And just play them. And that would include the online and everything to them. Here's the thing, though, that's fine, but I guarantee you, they will charge more for the game than you would be able to get on an Xbox and that, because you're not paying for the system, because you're not paying for like the Xbox Live and the online capabilities, and Stadia is going to be expensive to run. I don't think they'll survive off Stadia Pro, because not enough people will provide that. I guarantee you the price of games are going to be expensive. I almost guarantee it, because every streaming service that has tried to launch from on live and everything, all the games are like £5 to £10 more, because they have to pay for the upkeep of their system. Do you know what I mean?
I wouldn't know. I don't know.
If that's the case, which I'm almost guaranteed it will be, they will be more expensive, £5 to £10 more. Would that put you off buying a game on Stadia over the Xbox or PS4 or Switch?
Well, yeah, definitely. The thing with me is I don't like buying digital anyway. So if the price is the same on Stadia or on Xbox digitally, it literally makes no difference. I don't actually own anything. Like, for example, there is a game called Minecraft Story Mode, and I do believe that it is being delisted. That's fine. But what's happening is if you have purchased the game, but you haven't got it downloaded, after a certain date, which is coming soon, you will not be able to download it from anywhere again.
You'll literally lose the game.
So, digital is bollocks. Whatever platform it's on, whether it's streaming or digital to own, you still can. If you bought the season pass when it came out, it was like 35 quid. Yeah, you've lost a game for 35 quid, $50. What's the fucking point? If I went and bought a physical copy of the game, which I think only comes with most Telltale games, you get the first episode, the rest are digital. But if that was a full game on a disc, I wouldn't have that problem.
Not the issue. Yeah.
So at the end of the day, for me, buying digitally is a fucking ball ache anyway. So if the prices are the same, to be honest, I'm not bothered what I would get her on. I would get her on wherever's the cheapest out of the Xbox One X, PC, or Stadia, which would likely be for me PC, simply because it would likely be the cheapest platform.
Yeah, PC will be the cheapest platform. For me personally, I would rather pay for a system that I own, buy games for it digitally or whatever, like physically or digitally, but at least I personally still have this problem with not owning the system as well. Like, I don't know why, but
this is the good thing about this is the best thing about Stadia, to be fair, is you don't need a box. You can literally, if your TV somehow has Chrome built into it, you could just stick it on your TV. You can go on your browser on your computer. You could think, oh shit, right, I can't carry on by. I need to go up to bed, but I'll take my phone with me and carry on with it for a little bit. So it is a lot more versatile. Like for me now, if I wanted to play on my Xbox One, I'd have to stick it on the TV. That's fair enough. If I wanted to then carry on with my game, I'd have to either get another Xbox 360, or if I went up to bed, or disconnect my Xbox One. Sorry, I'm talking about, and then plug it all in upstairs. So it has its benefits of not actually having a box. And the thing is if you're gonna have a box that just does everything digitally, what's the point of having a box?
No, it's true.
I can understand having a box where you put stuff into it to play things, but if you've got everything digitally, then I don't see the point. It's like buying stuff from Amazon, buying like digital like films, or watching Netflix. Most people don't say, well, I'm got a DVD player to put my Netflix on. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
And it's the same kind of thing.
Here's the thing. literally the other day, I can't remember what day it was, for a good few hours, Google, basically, I say Google was offline, YouTube pretty much went offline, as well as something else from Google. I can't remember what it was. I don't know if it was Google themselves or what. Either way, YouTube and that was down for, I think it was a couple of hours. If that happens,
You can't play anything. Exactly.
You're stuffed. You're stuffed. Then that's what I don't like. At least, even if you own the games digitally on an Xbox or a Switch or a PlayStation, unless they're online games, at least you can still play your games if anything goes wrong. If you're into, like, I've got fiber optic broadband, so I'm fine. But if somebody out in the street was doing some work and they cut through my wire, that is it. I could be in the middle of a game, I'm stuffed. That is it. I'm bollocksed, and I'm bollocksed until they fixed it. And so, I'm not being funny. Sometimes, you know what internet service providers like? They can take up to 2 weeks to fix something.
Oh yeah,
you'd have to go to, and it's just, you're reliant. I personally think Stadia. I like the idea, and I want to like it. And I kind of like the idea of it. I just don't want to be so dependent on the system.
Yeah.
1 second.
I also share Doom's concern, Ubelian, and I agree with what he is saying. But for me, for example, if I was in the middle of playing an Xbox game on my Xbox One, as I game share, if I was with the Xbox One for me, if I was playing through Assassin's Creed Odyssey or Assassin's Creed Origins, and the internet was to cut out, the game would end because I'm game sharing that game. I didn't purchase it.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
So if you're playing on a game that you haven't bought yourself, that you're sharing, that can still happen, which means it isn't a problem. You still have access to your games. But the point is if you're still playing a game that is game shared, like most of my Xbox games are, apart from Game Pass and stuff, I would actually be stuck not being able to play a lot of them.
I get that, because I game share with my best friend, and which is Legendary Slam, funnily enough. So we take it in turns to buy games. So I lose half of my catalogue if anything goes wrong. But like you said, you still got your own games to play. And to be honest, I've got so many things to play. Like I think anyone who's seen my streams recently, they've seen my game room. I've got so much stuff to play, it wouldn't matter. I just, like, which, so I guess you could say, well, that'd be the same for Stadia. If that goes down, I've got so much to play that I could do. But the point is, I'd still have games on my own Xbox I could still play. My main thing is I don't want to be so reliant on, like, I don't want to be so reliant on them, on a company, a corporation, whatever you want to call them, providing me with my gaming service. I like to have a bit more control in terms of, I don't know,
No, I get what you're saying, and I'm not saying you're in the wrong. At the end of the day, I have the same concerns. I am going to give Stadia a try. It does sound interesting to me. It really does. And I very rarely in the last while had issues. I had the internet cut out on me the other day at like 1 o'clock in the morning when I was streaming. Yeah. That wasn't too bad, but normally my internet has been fine. I don't know if I'd be able to stream Stadia anyway.
I would have thought so. I think because they're essentially building YouTube into it. So I know for a fact.
I know. Yeah. I wonder if it'd be different though, because the cloud thing would somehow beam your thing without using your internet. But I don't know if that would work with Twitch, because they don't own Twitch.
No. Yeah.
So that's the problem there. The other concern, like, I completely agree with those concerns. But I think it'd be worthwhile trying out, and for the most part, most people are going to be fine to play without many problems, I would say.
Yeah.
And also, you can try it, even if you don't want to buy it permanently, you could try like some of the cheaper games on there to give them a bash on the free service. The pro service is just to get some free games and have 4K HDR, 60 frames per second. Free, you still get 1080p 60 frames per second, which, to be fair, a lot of games, even on Xbox and PlayStation 4, don't hit
They still can't
1080p,
do it.
60 frames
You're
per
right.
second. So for free, you're getting a better. If the latency isn't too bad and it all does run well like they're planning, you're gonna have a better experience playing them if the internet is fine for you. Obviously, I'm not saying this is the future, this is the way, but at the end of the day, at the same time, it kind of is leaning towards the future of stuff. Because look how many people watch Amazon Prime, Now TVs, Netflix, and no one says, well, I'm not getting that. Well, not many people that I know say, I'm not getting that just in case the internet cuts out and I can't watch my film I'm in the middle of watching.
I think the thing is with games is you're much more. It's a much more long-term investment in a game, and you put a lot more. You definitely put a lot more into a game. Personally, obviously, there's some people who never play games and they put everything into watching TV series and movies, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But if you to compare the two, a film you watch in a couple of hours, a game you play over potentially 80, 90, 100 hours, plus. Easy, some games.
But your average game, I'm going to say, is around 8 hours.
How many?
About 8, 10. Most games are short single-player games. You can have your big, massive RPGs. No, I agree. I agree, that is more than a film, but then you look at your 24-episode TV shows.
Yeah.
They're going to be about the same amount of time anyway.
It's true.
So I'm not saying any like who's right or wrong, but what I'm saying is if people are willing to get Netflix to watch all this stuff, but then say, well, gaming, I wouldn't do that just in case the internet cuts out, then what's the difference to watching stuff? You're still using a streaming service.
Yeah,
personally, I don't want to use a streaming service. I don't want to go digital. I want my game to come out on the day of fucking release, not needing any patches, and be perfect when I put it in my console, so I don't need the internet at all.
I mean, what would you what do you think about the Founders Edition that they've announced?
It looks like really good value for money to me.
It does look, honestly, as much as I've said I'm not that interested in it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of interested in that because problem is I'm a sucker for collecting things, as anyone's noticed if they see my game room.
Yeah.
The fact that you get that limited edition controller has suckered me in a little bit because I do like blue and I do like orange, and they're together and it does look very nice. And you do get, like, at least you're getting something tangible out of it. You're getting a nice looking controller. You're getting a Chrome Ultra, which is pretty cool because you can use that for anything anyway. So it's not like it's just a system. And more to the point, is you're getting 3 months of Pro and a buddy pass to give to someone else, which I really think that suddenly makes things interesting.
Yeah.
120 quid.
Yeah, it's definitely something interesting. The pad is pretty nice if you ask me. The pad controller, nice. I like the controller. I thought it looks really nice. It's like a really nice dark, sexy blue. Yeah.
It's interesting, and honestly, it's difficult. I might invest in that, but it would be very counterproductive if I do, because I just think I just wouldn't play it. I still think I wouldn't play it.
The thing
as crazy as that sounds,
the good thing is you could get that.
I guess
you get your 3 months. You get your 3 months trial, and then after that, if you don't decide on getting Pro, but they do get some really good exclusive games.
It's true.
You could then potentially get them on that console, on that platform. Sorry, like.
It could be a backup thing for sure. It could be one of those things that, like, a lot of people
think about it now. Say you got that, and you got your controller, you got your Chromecast Ultra, and what have you, and then your favorite game series that is not exclusive to like Microsoft, Sony, or Nintendo. Your favorite franchise goes to Chromecast only. You don't have to get Pro, but you can still buy that one game, and you've already got the Chromecast thing and all that ready there for you.
Thing is, realistically, £120, you're getting £300 worth of stuff for 120 quid, and
it's good.
£120. I mean, realistically, that's like an ultra edition of a certain game. Do you know what I mean? It's not crazy money to to pay for, and even if you only use it for the odd game or take advantage of the 3 months and get the free games, because as far as I'm aware, I might be wrong, but I don't think I am. The way they worded it, it sounds like with your pro,
you keep the games like.
you keep the game. It's not like a Game Pass where you stop paying for Game Pass, you lose the games. It looks like they give you the games, so even if you stop, you still have those games to play. So that's a big plus. But then again, are they going to give you shit? Is it going to, like, I'm not being funny, if they gave you like, they're never going to do it. But if it gave you Call of Duty on release, so many people would do it for a month and then bugger off. I know for a fact they will, so they're not going to. But that'd be amazing. But are they gonna, But then again, we are talking about Google, who literally have money to burn. They could pay some. It's not against the realms of impossibility to get maybe one of these big games on release. Maybe not Call of Duty, but a Battlefield mainly. One that's a big game, very popular, but it's not the market leader, if you know.
No, I know what you're saying. But the thing is, if EA are able to buy out most bloody thing, Epic Store able to steal stuff off Steam, I don't see why this isn't able to steal stuff off other companies. That's the thing. I think I don't think this would be my main way of playing games, but I'm very, very tempted in getting into that Founders Edition before it sells out, because it's only limited numbers. It means I'll have the controller, the Ultra, my name, and stuff like that.
You're set up to go then, aren't you? And you get 3 months for free.
And you can have a friend. You can go, hey, do you want to play these games with me? And the good thing is people like Graham, yourself, Matt, all have computers, but they aren't able to play something like Sea of Thieves or State of Decay 2 at the best they can be played.
Yeah.
Whereas obviously you're not going to be able to play those games on your computers because it's Chromecast, it's Chrome, Google Stadia, but you'll be able to play games like those kind of games then.
Yeah.
On PCs that wouldn't normally be able to run them.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say, is you'd be able to play games that your PC wouldn't normally be able to play.
I gotta be honest, I like the idea of doing with the Chromecast, which is why I'm thinking of doing the Founders Edition, because the Chromecast and the controller together would be more than 120 quid anyway.
Exactly.
For that. I like the idea because straight away you could just plug that Chromecast into any TV as long as you can get internet. And the thing I do like is your internet speeds don't have to be crazy. We're not talking like I said, I've got a 385 meg download speeds, so that's ridiculous. I'm aware of how ridiculous that is, and I hit that number every time. But to get 4K HDR, 60 frames a second with 5.1 surround sound, you only need 35 meg. I know there are a lot of people that can't reach 35 meg, but I would say there are more people in the UK that can get more than 35 meg that can't. I personally, even on a non-fiber connection, you can kind of hit your 30 to 35 now. So some people are very unlucky. I gotta be honest, there are some people who are very unlucky. And the one thing that is a bit annoying is, like I say, my friend Phil, Legendary Slam, his internet is beyond shocking. I mean, that's a problem with the service provider though, and he is sorting it. But they're really dragging their heels, and he's been at the place where he lives now for a year and a half, and they still haven't sorted it. And I would like to give him the buddy pass because he's the perfect person to give it to, but I can't because he would struggle to run the games at 5 at the minimum requirement, because that's how bad his internet is. So it is a little bit annoying that you would have to be biased to friends who have a decent internet connection, which I think is a bit mean, because I've got like Lord Atton. I could give it to him because he's got a good internet connection, but isn't that and he's just as good a friend as Slam is, but
yeah, but
change the fact
that makes it To be fair, that's actually fairer in a way, because if they are equal friends and you had a pass, but you could only give it to one of them, then isn't it easier for you to go, I'll give it to you who can actually use it, than I don't want to choose between my friends?
It is, but at the same time, I would rather... Honestly, I'd rather choose between them rather than have...
I'd rather say, yo, Slam, I like you more, and fuck off. Right.
Like, personally, I would rather... You know, I don't know. I'd just rather them be equal pegging, and then if I have to choose, I have to choose. It's not the end of the world type thing. I don't know. Maybe I've got a weird way of looking at things, but I don't know.
Yeah,
it's
strange. What I was going to say is I've put in the general chat of my Discord a ping for Azure Center and Stadia for everyone who's tried it on GRcade so far. Stadia, Google's computer cloud thing is fast, as a lower latency than Azure. I've also put into chat for everyone else if you want to compare, but my ping on the Google thing was around 15 ms, and was higher on...
What's this now? How do you check this? Sorry?
Just click the link in chat in general.
Which one do you pick on?
The top. Click the top one.
Okay.
And then load the regions. And then you've got London at the top. Will be the closest one. Mine's 15 ms. Median, and then the second one. You choose them, which I just chose all European thingies, and my Cardiff one is 24 ms, 27 ms. London is 23. So you're going to have faster response times with your games via Stadia than, at the moment, Microsoft's cloud-based stuff. Simply because Azure is slower. I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
There you go. Anyway, I was wondering if you wanted to talk about like some E3 stuff before it's too late and I fall asleep. Oh wait, that's your job. We've all been now there.
Well, you've all been there witnessing me fall asleep. I'm aware of that. Yes, we might as well cover some E3. So, before we do, is there anyone in chat that wants to say anything about Stadia or ask us questions about it, or is anyone interested in getting the Founders Edition? Or the only issue for me with that is it comes out the same month as Pokemon, and I was planning to get the double pack for Pokemon. So that's like 240 quid right there then, in it. I pay Pokemon and Stadia.
Why do you want the double pack?
Because I can.
Yeah, but why? Why? It's just a waste of money.
I know, but
I genuinely think Nintendo need to pull their fingers up their fucking asses, or Game Freak, or the Pokemon Company, and just release one game now. It's fucking ridiculous. Like Thomas in on GRcade said, if this was any other company, if Ubisoft came out now and released a game, announced the game at E3 with 2 versions of the game, people would be kicking up a fucking right fuss at Ubisoft. Nintendo is still doing it, and everyone waves the dick around going, yay, I can buy 2 copies of the same game. I don't get it. I agree with him. I genuinely think they should do 1 copy. There is literally no need for 2. It doesn't do anything other than... Oh, wait, nothing.
It made sense early on, up until the...
It didn't really make sense
DS.
then. It didn't really make sense then. It only made sense in the sense of, is like, well, we can sell this stuff to people, and then they could trade, and then it'll get more people buying Pokemon stuff, because they'll all get addicted to it.
Yeah, well, but that's what I mean, is up until the DS, before you had internet connection, basically, a decent internet connection, I could see the point of having 2, because the only way to trade is to meet up with people anyway, and it made sense to have the two because it encouraged to meet up with people and trade with other people before the internet was a real big thing. From the DS onwards, where internet became much more available, that's when I think
it makes sense in a certain view, in a certain way, but it also makes sense to have released Pokemon Red or Blue and then have all the Pokemon on this. You don't need to trade. You can still battle with people.
Yeah.
They literally, I think the reason why they had to split it the way they did was because they wanted more money.
Possibly.
I reckon that's what it is. It has worked, but I still think that now is the time to stop and everyone could buy if one person in the world buys Shield and everyone else buys Sword, if that one person trades with one other person, and then that person trades, breeds a couple of Pokemon and shoves them online, then more people are going to breed the Pokemon and shove them online, and so on and so on and so on,
I get that. But for me, that's the only thing, is even if I don't get the double pack and I got the single game, it's still 50,
Oh no, I agree. The only reason why I would be tempted to get a double pack myself is I wasn't really get it for me. My kids all want I would for my children, 3 of them want Pokemon.
Yeah.
And they want their own copies on their own Switches. So for me, it would make sense to buy 2 double packs. So I get Sword, and then they can fight over Sword and Shields themselves.
Yeah. Watch them all want Sword now. For God's sake. But so well, then again, I don't know how the pre-order works. Do you pay for it up front, or do they take the money when you dispatch it, or does anyone know?
With what now? Pokemon
with
or
Stadia? No, with Stadia.
I don't know. I would assume, as it's through Google itself, they probably just take it there and then. I would imagine. That's another thing, actually, talking about pre-ordering. Amazon recently are doing, you have to pay up front for pre-orders, which now means I am going to be buying a fuck ton less of stuff on Amazon.
Yeah, see, it's ridiculous. While we're on that subject, it's stupid, because the amount of things that I'd stick on a pre-order and I'd sit on it and then maybe cancel it and order something else and do that. I always knew it was there in the bag, ready to go. I got it ready. It changes things now, because I would, with Amazon, I would take a punt on games. Now I'm like, no, I'm not so fussed. I might as well just go to Game and stick my pre-order down with them for a $5, and if I don't want that game, I can move that $5 around to any other game I want. Do you know what I mean? Okay, they might be cheaper, but I don't know. Then again, I know there are a lot of people who are against pre-ordering, aren't they? There are a lot of people.
There are. I don't mind pre-ordering.
I just think it's a bit of a dick move from Amazon.
Yeah.
Do I pre-order?
It only seems to be Amazon, the EU Amazon, I think.
I reckon it'll drive a lot more people to websites like Shop2. They seem to always have really good deals.
Shop2 used to be really good. I just don't find them as good as they used to be. I also find that Play used to be really good back in the day.
Play.com.
And Gameplay were really, really good. Even though they were owned by Game, they were 10 times cheaper than Game. Well, not 10, much cheaper than Game. And then all of a sudden they went crap, and I don't even think it exists anymore.
No, I remember that.
Yeah.
But anyway.
E3! Right, should we list all the conferences and say what we're going to expect from them, or should we go one by one, EA's up first, I'll say. Should we talk about what we want from EA and then move on to the next one, or just go name them all and then just say what we want in general? Right, let's start then. EA. I want them to make it... Technically speaking, EA isn't part of E3. It's its own thing that happens several hours before E3, because EA are going to EA. I know it's usually Nintendo, but I'm going to do an EA, going to EA. Personally, I find that the conferences, I can't think of much that I'd want from an E3 conference, other than I would like it for once not to make me fall asleep, figuratively speaking.
Although, do you remember how awkward EA's one last year was when the guy's the guy who wasn't a natural presenter, his auto cue died while he was in the middle of presenting Need for Speed. Need for Speed.
Yeah.
Do you remember how awkward that got? That was it was beautiful. It was deliciously awkward. It was amazing. So more of that, please. More of people who aren't trained announcers, like trained speakers. Just more of that. More of turning off auto cue halfway through them presenting. Please. I don't mind what game you're doing it for. Just do it. I like watching people cringe.
I'd be like, if they turn off Walker, like, oh no, they've turned off the auto cue. Need for Speed is spit. Need for Speed is shit. Is that what I was supposed to say? Need for Speed is shit. Go play Burnout 2 on the GameCube. Or Revenge on the Xbox 360. Doom's yawning. Doom's yawning. It won't be long. He'll be sleeping.
I'm trying to think. What came out last year? So what can we... There's no Battlefield this year. Because that'll be next year. Because they said for 2 years.
As you mentioned, Battlefield, I have heard that Battlefield 5's in the vault on EA Access.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. That's disappointing. If it goes in the vault, it usually means when I say they're done with the game, as in they've it's their last ditch attempt to get people to play it, basically. Which was a bit of a shame because it hasn't even been out a year. Anyway, there's not going to be a Battlefield this year because it's every 2. Obviously, there's FIFA. We're going to get FIFA.
Madden, NHL.
NFL
maybe. Is there?
Apparently, there's no news on the new Need for Speed game. We're not expecting that. Apparently.
What happened to that DICE game that was like you can be any vehicle and do anything? No, I don't know. It was a DICE game. It was announced a couple of years back. It was like very early in development. Do you remember? It was
no.
Like it showed you off in various different states of vehicle-ish stuff. I'm sure at one point.
Ringing a bell.
Yeah, well.
Ooh,
Extreme Sports, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Jedi Fallen Order, Star Wars.
Well, it'd be nice to see something a bit more interesting than what we did see. What we saw last time. Gameplay, exactly. Gameplay. We didn't see any gameplay.
No, still haven't seen gameplay. So I want. So from EA, I'm really struggling here. But the only thing I want from them is Fallen Order gameplay, proper gameplay. None of this bull crap that they pulled with Anthem, where they said it was gameplay. It clearly wasn't gameplay. It was actually a CGI render made to look like a game, because then when the actual game came out, someone compared that scene to what actually is in the game, and it is far different. And that was a guy playing on the PC version at like full res, and it was crap compared. Like they fluffed that game up beyond belief.
To be fair, I don't think I think all the companies fucking do it. Ubisoft are awful for doing it. I think the problem is I don't get why they do it, because people realize people complain about it. So just show us what the game looks like with anyway, if you know what I mean. It's not going to detract from the game. All it's doing is making people go, oh, I don't believe it's going to look like that, and then they don't bother getting the game because they find out it doesn't look as good as it did. Because some people do care that much about visuals, strangely.
Yes, bit of a weird one, but so honestly, from EA, the only thing I can think of right now is Fallen Order. I don't think there's anything else I'm interested in by them.
I saw the Xbox One version of Anthem with a load of DLC stuff going on CD keys the other day for like 17 quid. I was like tempted to grab it, but I thought I'm not going to play it with anyone, so I didn't bother.
To be honest, the player base for that is reduced so badly that it's you wouldn't even get anyone to play with anyway. It's pretty appalling, really. Yeah, no, it's not worth it. Yeah. So, is there anything else from EA that you think or you'd like to see?
Yes, nothing specific in that sense, but the one interesting part of E3, of EA's conference, is the little indie section they have. Like last year was Unravel
Yeah.
2. The year before it was the jail
The
game.
prison game, yeah.
I can't remember what that was called. Birds of a Feather or something. And then, and then the year before that, I think was like Unravel. And the year before that was A Way Out. That's the one. Cheers Rebellion.
That's it.
And the year before that, I think there wasn't a year before that. I think it was the last 3 years they've done it. So I think that is the thing that I'm looking forward to most. Yeah. I also like the section where they pat themselves on the back for the charity work.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, it's great that they're doing stuff for charity, but it's like it comes across as we're doing this so we can brag about it, you know? When they do it on like this big conference. I'm not saying that is the reason it comes across that way to me.
Yeah, I'm not being funny. It doesn't make me want to buy their games more just because they're doing some good work for charity.
No.
It's not, all companies, if they're making enough money, should be doing stuff for charities regardless. They should. It shouldn't be a big deal that they're helping people out. It just shouldn't. It should be just something that they're expected to do. Personally, but that's a very political thing that we could go into. But it's not the right podcast for that.
No, that's the other podcast. Doom and Pedz do politics. That will be every Saturday at never o'clock.
Never, yeah.
So yeah, we'll move on from EA then, as we really have nothing much to say. What about the next conference, which is
Microsoft, no?
Microsoft. It is. I was thinking, is it Microsoft or Bethesda? Because this on this one it says Bethesda then Microsoft, and it shows it basically it's called I'm in the wrong order. Yeah. So yeah, Microsoft. Anything from Microsoft you actually really want to see?
Not that I can think of. Nothing that I'm super excited about. I've never been like I'm not a massive Halo fan, but I will be interested to see a little bit more about Halo Infinite, which I'm assuming they're going to talk about. I will, I'm kind of keeping my ears and eyes on that, but I'm not like looking for. It's not like a must play game for me. I'm expecting to. I assume we're going to hear something about Gears of War 5. Again, I like the Gears of War series, but I'm not a massive fan. So I'll be interested to see if they say anything about it. But I'm not like it's not going to change it. It's not going to change.
I actually really like Gears of War, to be honest. It's
really good.
It's dumb fun. Awesome. It's actually something which I never thought I'd enjoy because because the story's not exactly great. The gameplay at the time, while not the best, at the time I think it was the best in that particular style.
Yeah.
But I've always just found it dumb fun, and it's like a summer blockbuster that you go and watch where it's just dumb entertainment.
Like the Expendables, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, but that's why you watch it, because it is ridiculous and it's fun. And like you say, you can play it and just kind of switch off to the rest of the world and just enjoy mindless locust slaughtering. Are we going to see you? Oh, okay. I guess elephant in the room. There's going to be a lot of focus on the new Xbox system. We might as well say that.
Yeah, I reckon there'll be.
I reckon there's going to be a very large.
To be honest, I hope there's not a lot of focus on it, because
I reckon there will be.
I reckon the problem you have is, I know E3 is about sales and stuff, but I think that talking about it too much now is at E3. If they spend like half their time talking about the Xbox next, then people are just going to be put off.
Yeah, yeah, I get that.
You know, I'd rather them just
I
talk about
think...
some games. I reckon if they're going to talk about the next Xbox, it should be quite short because, you know, what are they really going to do unless they start going into specs and everything else? But then if they go into specs and that now, does it mean that like Sony might go, oh, so that's the specs?
No, Sony have already released what specs they're using for their
Have they
PS5.
now? Ooh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they've already said what GPU, CPU, how much RAM it's going to have. It's having a solid state drive. They've already announced everything. So it's actually the other way around. Microsoft are going to be like, I think PlayStation, Sony announced it like last month. So Microsoft have got something to play off now. But yeah, so I reckon we're going to get into specs. They're going to talk about, and I don't want them talking about new system. I just want them to talk about features that I care about. Like, remember when the Xbox One came out and they kept talking about Cortana and getting her to like Xbox record, Xboxes. I don't want to know any of that. I want to see how good they can make you know, how much better can they make what I already like about Xbox? Do you know what I mean? How can they improve Xbox Live anymore? Are they gonna what new features are actually worth like?
I know they can improve Xbox Live, make it free.
Make it free, yeah.
Honestly, Xbox Live isn't as good as playing online on PC, and it's free.
On what? Sorry.
Online on PC is better. Fair enough, you need to get your apps and stuff from different places, but it's free, and it's better on PC. Most things are dedicated servers and so on and so forth. It is.
Yeah. But yeah, going back to games, what I think we're going to hear about, we're going to see more about Halo Infinite. We're going to see something about Gears of War 5. We might see something about Forza Motorsport 7, 8. 8, yeah. But I know for a fact that's not coming out this year. It was expected to come out, but they're holding back another year because they want it to be one of the release titles for the new Xbox. And so they're adding an extra year on.
I'm not gonna lie, I would personally rather they bring out the new one now, Forza 8 now, and bring out Forza Horizon 5 next gen. Because to be honest, it's going to be to me, it would seem like it would be a lot more of an impressive game to bring out because you'll have like
you're right. Really
lots of different landscapes, and from what I remember of Motorsport, you just go driving on a fucking track for 20 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
Ugh. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem like it'd be as visually or as appealing as something like the open world Forza Horizon games.
No,
that's my opinion. There you
go. Yeah, so honestly, Microsoft have bought a lot of studios recently. They've put their money, they've put their hands in their pockets, and they've bought a lot of studios. So I don't know what
all those studios will have anything to show. Any of them will have anything to show.
I reckon a fair few of them are going to have a lot to show for the next Xbox. I think that's what they've been bought for. But I am hoping that we're going to see some Xbox One releases as well because they've bought a fair few. They've bought a good 14, 15 studios, and they're like, some of them are big studios. So I would like to say that we're going to see some we're going to see some new exclusives for Microsoft and Xbox in general. That will be released for the Xbox One, and then I'm assuming they'll be available to play on the next gen Xbox as well. So there is that as well. But again, this kind of with Microsoft is the same as EA. Like, there's nothing super specific. I'm kind of just gonna watch it and hope that we get something good out of it. But I'm not expecting anything. For
me, I want to see something on Battletoads because that was announced like last year. So I want to see some Battletoads gameplay. I would also like. I know it's not going to happen, but I want to hear more about what they're going to do with Sea of Thieves. Now I've done all the Tall Tales. I want more like that. Because I've spoke about this to Matt and Graham and various other people who've watched the streams, but the stuff they did in Tall Tales, while it was pretty much you're doing the same kind, the ends were very much similar to what you were doing in the traditional voyages where you'd go sailing for treasure now. But the way they went about them was so like there was so much more variety and so many more interesting things to it. And I to be honest, if they can improve upon that, get rid of the Briggsy style fights because there's like 3 of them, and that kind of and like improve a little, tweak things a little bit here and there, like the Tall Tales season 2, then is going to be fucking brilliant. And also, I think there needs to be some better rewards because you go through it. There's about, I think it's like a flag, a ship skin, some clothes, and a hat. And I think through doing each Tall Tale, you get $3,000, and at the end you get like an extra 10 for selling something, and that's it. And I get that that's not the point of it, but if I wanted to like actually earn some money to buy some of the things or earn rep, I'd be better off doing like 4 forts, and I'd earn probably more money than I did in the last 3 hours I spent doing the last Tall Tale. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not criticizing in general. I'm just saying a few tweaks here and there would have elevated it again. And like I've said, I find Sea of Thieves it's quite repetitive in what you do, but it's fun to do it. And then with the Tall Tales, then you literally have actual like really interesting ways to go about the tales.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. I'm expecting that we're going to see some Sea of Thieves stuff. I'm trying to think, but like as I said again with Microsoft, I reckon it's going to be very next gen focused. We're going to see, they're going to talk about some updates. I reckon they're going to talk about what studios are making games for that Xbox, for that next gen Xbox. We're going to see something about Halo Infinite, something about Gears 5, maybe something about Motorsport 8.
While I'm not personally that keen to get it, it would be cool to see a new Banjo game, just to see Banjo come back, or Conker or something. Oh, fucking Conker's Bad Fur Days, one of the best games I've ever played. So I wouldn't know what to call it, because like Fur Day sounds similar to Thursday, so I'd know Conker's Hairy Arse Day sounds similar to Monday. Yeah. You know what I mean? But there's nothing specific, I think, with Microsoft. There's no franchise off the top of my head. Other than the only game I would like to see a sequel to that is a Microsoft exclusive, apart from PC, which wasn't made by Microsoft or one of their studios, is Sunset Overdrive. I'd like to see a second.
A lot of people said it's like the modern day Jet Set Radio. I think a lot of people
I don't know. I only played a bit of Jet Set and I didn't really care for it. But I just adored Sunset Overdrive. I just found it fun. And the traversal, getting around the city and everything was great. And Insomniac made Spider-Man, and again, the traversal and everything was brilliant in that. So
that's cool. Yeah. Yeah. Nothing. But other than that, no. I think again, it's very much a watch this space kind of situation with Xbox. So, shall we move on to Bethesda?
Yes, Bethesda. Oh, here comes more Fallout 76. They're making it free to play. They won't. It's actually gone up in price in some places. But at one point in Australia, I think, or something, they were selling the game, and you'd get a free copy of the game. You buy a pad, you get a free pad. it was just ridiculous how it was just being given away, basically, like.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Oh, first question.
Ooh, Ubellion has a question. I was going to leave the questions till at the end. So we do everything. Will the audience all receive the free duffel bags?
Yeah, that was. Do you remember Fallout 76? If you bought the special edition, you were meant to get a duffel bag with. And
it came back something silly like a carrier bag.
Yeah, it was like a carrier bag or something stupid like that. Yeah. So it'd be interesting to see. Again, Bethesda might see something about Fallout 76. I mean, I don't know if they've got plans for it, but maybe. I don't think they'll touch on it much, though. No. I think we're going to see new Elder Scrolls, because they announced last year, they said Elder Scrolls 6 is coming. So I'm pretty sure Elder Scrolls will not be coming out this year. And honestly, I don't think it's coming out next year either. But I think we're going to see... They're going to talk about what they've been like a bit more about it, I would have thought. But Bethesda are a funny company, aren't they? Because they produce some massive games, but I can't think of.
I don't think we'll see Elder Scrolls for a while. Ubellion reckons it's not going to for the next 5 years. I don't think they're going to be. I don't think they started work on it myself until recently, because the trailer they showed was literally, I think it was some clouds and then a bit of land, and then Elder Scrolls 6, and that was it. I think that was a teaser akin to Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah.
And when they teased Metroid Prime 4, there was pretty much nothing done on Metroid Prime 4 at all. Other than
just the logo.
They thought they were going to make it. Oh, let's make Metroid Prime 4. Yeah, let's just tell everyone we're going to make Metroid Prime 4. It's like, no. Make some of the stuff and then do it.
Yeah. Jeff said that they're working on Dynamaxing dragons in Elder Scrolls.
Nice. I don't know what there'll be. I don't think there'll be any Fallout stuff. I don't think there'll be any Elder Scrolls. Starfield. I again don't think anything's going to come from that. I don't.
Now that you've said it, I reckon Starfield. We're going to see Starfield stuff.
I think we're going to see some stuff from the other developers. I think we'll see little bits of crap from Bethesda. I don't mean crabs and crap stuff. I mean a little bit of crap. I was in like, some shit, you know. I think we'll see stuff from Arcane Studios. We might see some stuff from id, and their other studios. You know.
Yeah.
Personally, I obviously can't say either way, but I just have this feeling that we're going to see little from Bethesda this year, and it's going to mainly come from like little side things like Doom. Yeah, Doom Eternal definitely going to show some stuff.
Yeah,
got up there.
It'll be cool. What's the next one on the list?
Upload VR. I'm assuming it's something to do with VR.
I got no interest in that.
While I have no interest in Upload VR specifically, VR is fucking amazing, and if you can try like Astrobot, there's certain games that will make you really think wow. And Astrobot VR, I tried one thing and it was pretty tense, being attacked by a shark in VR. But Astrobot fucking blew my mind. I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. I was like playing the game and I would like lean forward slightly and I could like turn and just look around corners that way like the collectibles are on the level. I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. So
there you go. Jeff just said I'm going to be the big headliner for Bethesda. Eternally Doom.
Eternal Doom Spoon.
Yeah.
Next up is the PC Gaming Show. The PC Gaming Show tends to last several hours, and they do show some interesting stuff, but it's very different to the other conferences.
It's hardware related, a lot of it as well, isn't it?
There are bits of hardware. It's not a lot of hardware. A lot of it is mainly games.
No? Okay.
But it's different in that they'll show the game like they would in a normal conference, but then the guy hosting will sit down with some other people and they'll chat more like an interview. So it's not like a conference in that sense. It's like an interview with some adverts kind of thing. It's actually alright. It's very different, and it's a bit stiff, but a bit like Jeff's penis. But other than that, it's alright. After that, we have Ubisoft, or some say Ubisoft. I say Ubisoft because I prefer the sound of it. That is on, and obviously there has been a leak. And I don't mean I peed my pants. I mean there was a leak in Jeff is Dynamaxing his penis. Well, at least it'll be bigger than 0 inches. Finally, Jeff has a visible penis. Right. Basically, with Ubisoft, there's been a leak in that there's Watch Dogs 3 coming. Supposedly, you can be any NPC. So people are wondering, is it going to be kind of like Driver, where you're driving around and then you just could switch to another person, like another car, and that kind of thing, which just seems weird.
I haven't played Watch Dogs 1 or 2, but I think I was talking to Jawa on a stream, and he highly recommended I play them. He was like, they're really good games.
Right.
And
I would personally not bother with Watch Dogs. Watch Dogs is pretty shit.
Okay.
Yeah, Watch Dogs is it's like, don't get me wrong, Assassin's Creed, the first one, most people think is shit. I really enjoyed the first Assassin's Creed, but Watch Dogs seems to be the same as Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed was like the prototype game, and the second game, Assassin's Creed 2, is where the game really found its foot in and took off and started doing really good stuff, which a lot of stuff they've then removed to slimline the game, and it just isn't as good now. Well, later games, I don't know about the newest ones. Sorry, I'm rambling a bit. And then with Watch Dogs, it's the same. Supposedly, it's the same thing.
Watch Dogs 2.
The first game is a bit meh, which I would agree with. But Watch Dogs 2, as Ubelian said, is magnificent. And like all the trailers and everything, and it was all shown in 3, and it made the characters look like just shit characters. But from the sounds of it, the characters are all really cool in there as well. And everything I've heard about that game is amazing. I think I've got it, I just haven't played it.
I was going to say, I am tempted to... they're not story-driven, are they? Are they? So...
they are story-driven in that Watch Dogs 1 has a story and Watch Dogs 2 has a story, but they're not connected.
But they're not connected, that's fine.
That I'm aware of.
Yeah, because what I have seen the leak for Watch Dogs 3, and it does look very good, and I kind of tempted to go out and pick up Watch Dogs 2.
Yeah. I would recommend... I haven't played 2, but I've played 1, and I would recommend not bothering with that. I know Jawa likes it, but Jawa does like Sonic Boom on the Wii U, so I wouldn't trust his opinion. But the thing is I personally would avoid Watch Dogs 1. I've heard so much good things about Watch Dogs 2 that I would say Gary, because you're likely to enjoy the game. I want to play it myself. I just haven't got around to it. It's just so many. The problem is now is there is so many games, and so many of them, whether it's AAA or indie games or anything like that, there are so many games that are recommended by people. It's just, you just can't keep up now. Like when you were younger, it was better. You'd have a couple of games bought for you, and you would just be happy with what you had. Now it's like there's so many things you want to play, and so many games nowadays get rated well. It's annoying, but at the same time it's good, because like, oh well, I've only got one game to play for the next year.
Yeah.
Well, it was never that bad, but, So is there anything you would like to see from Ubisoft? Do you think it's going to be any more collaborative efforts with Ubisoft and another company? For example, Mario plus Rabbids and the DLC with Donkey Kong. Do you think it's going to be anything else like that with another company or Nintendo?
I think Nintendo have definitely been impressed by Ubisoft, and I think, you know what? Have you played it? Have you played Mario Cross Rabbids?
I have played it. I did not. I played it for a bit, and I actually rather enjoyed it. It seems like a kind of Mario Rabbids version of XCOM, and I was enjoying it. I'm finished it. It was a game I was playing on stream.
I was gonna say I finished that game and I loved it. I was just like, that was so good. and I wasn't expecting it, but I did finish it, and I was like, what? I never finished game, so the fact that I finished it says a lot for me. I really enjoyed it. I think Nintendo are kind of. I think we might see something else. I don't think we're going to see Mario Rabbids 2. I don't think that, but I think there
But you
might
also
be
have
something.
Ubisoft. I know Starlink was on all the consoles, but it had exclusive Star Fox stuff, which has recently added new Star Fox DLC, where you can play as Peppy, Falco, and Grum. And there's the rest of Team Wolf in the game, and more story stuff based on Star Fox stuff. So, what if the next game they announce is, I don't know, maybe they work on another Starlink game that's just for Nintendo Switch, where you go to the Lilith system.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Or what if they, what other franchise do you think they could take and kind of blend with one of their game styles that they play?
That's a good question. I'm trying to think now. Trying to think of what Nintendo could. What could they do with Zelda?
It'd probably be Assassin's Creed, wouldn't it? But with Zelda, with Link in it instead of. Well, maybe you play as Zelda.
That would actually be kind of cool.
It would be kind of cool, but at the same time, Breath of the Wild kind of does the same kind of thing anyway.
They've already changed it up with Breath of the Wild, so there's no point in changing it up again.
Yeah.
Hang on. What if Ubisoft are doing something with F-Zero?
Could do. At least someone should. Then again, I would like, honestly, if that's the case, if someone was to be doing it, I would like Sega to do it again, because GX was wonderful, if a bit hard for me, and my awesome awfulness. Yeah, but I'm just trying to think, because you've got the Rabbids Mario crossover, you've got the Star Fox in the other thing, so, what else, what other franchise, like, you could have Kid Icarus.
What? Hang on. No, that must be wrong. Hang on. So I've just went on Games website to have a look at how much Watch Dogs 2 is. They've got a special offer on. That's got to be wrong. I don't want to make myself look like an idiot. So let me just click on it to make sure. That seems awfully cheap.
Remember, it is pretty old, and the new game is coming out probably like next year, end of the year.
Yes. So they've got Watch Dogs 2 Deluxe Edition, brand new, for £7.
I'll buy myself now on what console?
Oh, that was for the Xbox One.
Oh, I'll get it on the Xbox. Is the Xbox One enhanced? I'll get it if it is.
Yeah.
Only
got
because
it for PS4 as well at the same price. But that pre-owned, it's £13.
Yeah, it's worth grabbing then, isn't it, for £7? The only reason why I with Ubisoft games, I look at getting them on the Xbox One, even though my PC could run it better, is I know a lot of the time Ubisoft games have problems on PCs. They don't have consoles. A lot of the times you have to wait on like modding community to fix their games, and I just can't be arsed with that.
They've got. I've just checked the stock. They've got like They've got loads of them in the game in Barry. So I'm gonna go pick that up tomorrow.
Oh, I don't live in Barry. That's a shame.
Yeah. For £8
I live in
for
George.
Deluxe Edition. I'm doing that.
Barry, George. Yeah, he's all over Barry. Barry's bald bag. So I can't think of any specific Ubisoft franchises off the top of my head I'd like though.
Skull and Bones.
Skull and Bones I like the look of, but from what I've heard, it's basically just the ship combat from Assassin's Creed,
and honestly,
not much else.
Sea of Thieves, I think a lot of people were like, "Oh, Sea of Thieves have like." I think a lot of people when Sea of Thieves came out were like, "Oh my god, this is so shit. We can't wait for Skull and Bones to come out." Now that Sea of Thieves has been out and they've really like they put the bells and whistles out. I think a lot of like, I'm not being funny. I would really struggle to go like to go and play another pirate game, because I just feel like, well, everyone knows, anyone who's spent 5 minutes listening to any of my streams or this stream will know how much I love Sea of Thieves.
Yeah,
I'm not going to keep harping on about it. But personally, I think they've got it so right now. it's just so right that I don't think Skull and Bones is a big deal anymore, because I just think it's never gonna, for me, it's never gonna be as good as Sea of Thieves. It's never gonna happen, you know. So I've lost the interest for it now.
That's fair enough. The when we were talking last week to Kill, he mentioned another pirate game. I think I may have it on PC, and that is meant to have really good like naval combat, and again, like Sea of Thieves, you have to work as a team. And that's meant to be very fucking good. And also that there was that Sea of Thieves looking like as like meerkat seas or something that I linked you to and said, "Who needs Sea of Thieves?" It was like, I think it was like a free in alpha or something. Should have played it just to have a look. And then you would have been like, ugh, I don't want to play Sea of Thieves anymore. This is better. I get to dress up a cat or a meerkat or a monkey or a chimp or Chinese baboon, not baboon, panda. The fuck am I on about baboon? They're from like Africa, aren't they?
Baboon. Oh, I don't know. I have no idea where they're from.
But no, I'm not very good with my animals.
No. Maybe it's a crazy suggestion. Do you think maybe we should get back to E3?
No, I'm happy about talking about animals.
Happy talking about animals and guessing where they're from.
Yeah. Sheep.
Oh, we all know where they're from. Yeah, exactly.
Anything other than that you can think of, Ubisoft? Obviously, there's Assassin's Creed. They're still working on Odyssey with DLC, so that isn't going to pop up. I did hear that there was a leak. Not about Watch Dogs, but some roller derby looking game.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what it is exactly. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But it's like
you brought up Splinter Cell.
Splinter Cell. Oh yes, I've never really played Splinter Cell. I am not a massive how do you say, stealth game kind of person. I tend to struggle with stealth because I get bored and want to just punch things or stab things or shoot things. As Spider-Man said earlier in my stream, when I attacked something, I would be a terrible ninja.
So one game that we've forgotten about that Ubisoft are going to be really pushing hard, new Ghost Recon.
Yeah, that's already been announced and stuff. That's what I mentioned, but it will be shown. I think they've got the guy from Punisher and Walking Dead as the villain. I forgot his name. If you look in the general games chat part of my Discord, you will see just an image of the roller derby thing. For those in chat who don't know what I'm talking about, there is the link. If you want to just quickly have a look at the sexy picture. And you can read the text if you would like. I am not. But there's that as well. It kind of got like it says there Fortnite aesthetic to it, and it kind of does. But yeah, I can't think of anything Ubisoft wise other than, like you mentioned, Splinter Cell. It's just not something I've really played myself. I did briefly play one on the 360 and I done a little bit and I was just like I'm not really a stealth kind of guy.
No.
Which if you ever watch any of my games with involving stealth, I'll either do badly or just get bored. So have you played the Splinter Cell series, and what are your thoughts on it?
I haven't. I have no opinion on it because I have no idea. I've got them though. I think I've got all of them. How many games are there for the original Xbox?
I think there's 3, and then 1 on the Xbox 360. Don't quote me on that.
I've got a small Xbox collection here, like Xbox original collection. So I've got Splinter Cell, which is the first one. I've got Chaos Theory, and I've got Pandora Tomorrow. So I assume they're the 3 that were out for the original Xbox.
I think that's all. I couldn't tell you, to be honest. we'll move on then, as we seem to be at Ubisoft stuff. We're on to Square Enix, or Square Enix, or Squeenix, or Squanix.
So, it's first things first.
Final Fantasy 15 is not good.
No. Final Fantasy 7 is all they're going to talk about, I reckon.
First things first, if I tune in to watch that, especially live at 2 a.m., and all they show is Final Fantasy 7, I will hunt them down and I will get Cloud Sword and shove it up every single one of their asses. I literally couldn't give two fucks about Final Fantasy 7
I'm going to put money on it that over 50% of their presentation is going to be Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah, probably.
Because that's the one that everyone is talking about. I say everyone, other than Pedz and me, because I'm not bothered about Final Fantasy 7 either. But that's the one that everyone's been clambering for years, and it's been like it's meant to have come out, and then it never, and then it's been pushed.
I agree with you, Belly, and Avengers is definitely going to be shown. They've tweeted about it and everything that they're going to be showing the Avengers game, which they announced a while back. I think the trailer they announced it was literally a teaser. It just showed like Thor's hammer on the floor, Iron Man's hand on the floor, that and the Captain America shield, I think.
Yeah.
It was the definition of a teaser, whereas nowadays a teaser's like over a minute long, and then your trailer's over 2 minutes long. You know, and then they spoil all the interesting bits, and you may as well not bother going to the cinema to watch them. I'm about films now, whereas this is a game teaser. So I am interested in seeing what they do with Avengers, only because while it was a different company, I did enjoy Spider-Man, and it would be cool to see some more superhero games that are genuinely good. As long as no Superman 64 style gameplay or anything like that, I think we'll be okay. Yeah. Final Fantasy 7, they're going to talk about it. I don't know if it's out or due out. Is Final Fantasy 14's expansion? If that is due out, they may talk a little bit about it, but I think they do like live, like Twitch stream style things every so often to talk about Final Fantasy 14. So I don't know if all that will come up. But as with Square Enix, they also own companies like Crystal Dynamics, Tomb Raider company, and other companies. So I think we're going to see like a couple of games from Square themselves. And I think there's going to be, I think there's going to be some stuff from the other companies. What though, I don't know, because my ears. Thank you for the. Oh wow! Thank you, Jeff, for subscribing to the channel, man. It is really appreciated. GRcade thanks you. I am not GRcade. I am speaking on behalf of them right now. The problem I've got with this E3, like Sony are not turning up, like because it's so close to next. It is basically so close to the next gen stuff. They are ramping down on E3 because they're saying basically we haven't really got much to show for the rest of this generation. So there's no point in coming in and showing you the same old shit. Yeah. So I think this is the problem I have is are people going to be like everyone there apart from Nintendo because of the Switch is different. Are they going to be talking about stuff that's coming in the next year or so, or are they going to be talking about games for the next generation? I thank you for all the subs, man.
I was gonna say, Jeff, he's a legend. He's just like he's like, and you have a sub, and you have a sub, and you have a sub. Not that I'm bitter in any way, shape, or form at all, but I think I'm the only one that didn't get gifted a sub.
I'm bitter that I can't afford to give people subs. Thank you very much,
dear.
man. Seriously.
But either way, yeah, I was gonna say that's crazy. So yeah. Thank you for did a community survey. It's cool. Thank you for the support, though. It does mean a lot. You know, when you've got only like 1 or 2 people kind of keeping the channel going, which, you know, to be fair to Pedz, he streams. Do you still stream it to GRcade?
I do stream to GRcade. I last streamed some Final Fantasy 9. I know we're going a bit off topic, but for those listening, if you're interested in the Twitch channel, because you might listen live or you have other interest in the channel, I'm bringing back Retro Mondays on Monday next week, which would be the whatever 10th. The day, 10th, 11th, whatever.
Yeah, 10th.
So on the 10th, I'll be bringing back Retro Monday. Probably, I'm thinking about it now. If E3's on, I don't know if who'll be there, but I should be back Monday with that for those who are interested. That'll be an hour-long session of a retro game that is picked by people from GRcade. And then I will do some multiplayer stuff, and we'll probably do stuff like Jackbox until I go to bed. Maybe even Twitch Sings. No, we're not doing Twitch Sings. That was bad.
It's all good. But yeah, either way, Jeff, it's really appreciated. So thanks for that. You know, it means a lot. So it's cool.
Yeah.
Yes. What were we talking about?
Sony? I was saying no. We were talking about Sony.
No.
We were talking about Square Enix, and then I mentioned Sony not being there. My thoughts are. Thank you for gifting a sub to Doom.
I was only messing around. I didn't feel that left out, Jeff. But either way, I really appreciate it. Thank you, Jeff.
That's funny. So it's like all these companies are going to be there. I don't know how long the conference is going to be. I think Microsoft's is meant to be literally like an hour, 2 hours, something stupid like that. But it's like, what are they showing us? Are they showing us stuff that's a couple of years away for next gen? Are there still loads of games still in development for this gen? Are those games that are currently in the middle of being worked on also got a remastered version working at the same time, so they can go a year later, give me more money for the same game at a slightly higher resolution?
Yeah.
See, this is the thing. It's like I don't know what to expect. Like in the middle of the generation, at the beginning of the generation, you'd be like, oh, they could do this, they could do that. At the end of the generation, it's like, but would they do that with next gen looming so close?
Yeah. Although, while we're on that subject, I think we're at a stage now where generations are going to be different now. I don't believe that there's going to be a gap. I don't think there's generation gaps anymore. I think it's just a case of, this is where I'm kind of going with it, is I just don't think there's generation gaps now. So I kind of just think they just will release games and it will run on the Xbox One, but it will just run better on whatever the next gen console is. I don't think there's, because like before it was like the jump was big because it literally cut you off from your current gen and you had to start buying new stuff because there was no, it was very like
the issue I have with that is if they make sure these games run on older platforms as well, it's going to hold back.
It will.
The next gen stuff anyway. So there's not much point in upgrading, like.
No, or maybe it'll just work in the sense that when I say the generation gap's not so big in terms of all Xbox One games, it's kind of like a backwards compatible thing, but not in the same way. Like stuff like backwards compatibility usually means that the system needs to be emulated to play. So like if you play original Xbox, it emulates the original Xbox, and the same with the 360. It emulates them in order for you to play those games. Like I think it's more going to work like kind of just like a PC.
Wii U didn't.
In terms of What's that?
I said the Wii U didn't. It had a Wii built, basically built in, didn't it?
Yeah,
and same with the PS3 and PS2 until they decide to remove it.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I think now it's just a case of it's kind of like a PC, like you upgrade your PC, but your old games still work. They just probably work a little bit better. They just work better, and then because you've got that upgraded PC, you could buy the newer games, and that's I reckon what's going to happen. So when I say it's not like backwards compatible, you literally it's just you move your current library over, and it's all still like. It's really weird. It's like backwards compatible, but I don't class it as backwards compatible, if you know what I mean. It's just continuing on.
Games are forward compatibly planned or something.
Yeah. So all your Xbox One games could be played like fine. Yeah. It's not emulated. It's literally just you can just play them better on a better console.
Yeah.
And then from that point onwards as well, your new games coming, because I hate to think like next year, because that's essentially when these consoles are coming out. Next year would mean that I wouldn't be able to play, or Sea of Thieves suddenly becomes. It doesn't mean I'd stop playing it, but it does. I'd hate to think like that's it. Then it's done. There's nothing that's going to happen for it. Well, I know for a fact that's not the case. I know for a fact it's a games with a service. It's going on. It's a multi. It's. They've already said it's the kind of game that's going on for like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. That's the kind of plan they've got in their head. So that the only way that's going to work is if the game just keeps up with what consoles with the generation. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. The thing is though, is when you say they're planning on the game for 10 years. They said the same with Destiny, and then they released Destiny 2.
Yeah,
so do they mean the game for 10 years, or do they mean the franchise? They got a 10-year plan for the franchise.
No. The interview that I saw, they were talking about this specific game, because they were talking about how the game now will not look anything like it does in 6 or 7 years' time, as the game has evolved. But they're talking about this specific game. I will bear back one moment. Nature is calling, and I can't seem to make it stop. So.
Wait, does that mean he's peeing himself?
Yes, I'm sitting here in a pool of my own wee.
Silly Doom. See, this is the thing though, it's like with the upgrading hardware, you have diminishing returns with the visuals, and I think what you're getting now is you're gonna get better lighting, much better physics, much better facial animations and stuff like that. I think the AI is going to be a big could be a thing that will have a big leap in the next generations, because like I said in the previous podcast, if you look at an image of like PS1 game, PS2 game, PS3 game, PS4 game, it wasn't specific those games, but it was a face rendered with the polygon count used for each generations. You can see the massive leap from 1 to 2, the pretty big leap from 2 to 3, and the very small hop from PS3 to PS4 generation polygons. So I think the big leaps now are going to come from the various art styles that may be easier to do with more powerful tech. So you might get nicer looking games in that regard, which may be way more noticeable. You can also, like I said, you'll have the AI, the physics, stuff like that. So, where they're going to go in next gen, I don't know. I don't think there's going to be a massive... The thing is, though, to be honest with you, right? A lot of games, I'm like, I'll play them, and like a year or so after the generation comes out, and I'll think, well, it doesn't look that much better than the last game that was on the last console. And then you put it on, and you play in it, and you're like, the difference is a lot bigger than I realized. Do you guys ever get like that? Do you ever think like, oh yeah, this game, this sequel?
Oh, I thought you were talking about when your penis goes from flaccid to erect. Wow, you're talking how about the differences? But then I realized you were talking about games.
Yeah, no, I don't talk about that on this podcast. That is on the Doom and Pedz Does Sex Talk, which is on a Saturday. Yeah. The other one's on, the politics is on a Friday, and the sex talk is on a Saturday. Games are on.
Live to Pornhub.
Yeah,
we stream live to Pornhub.
Well, you do it on Pornhub, I do it on Chatterbait, because, you know, I helicopter while I'm talking. I hope no children are listening to this, because one, we're swearing a lot, and two, now we're mentioning porn sites, and I'd rather they not know about them. But what I was saying is like, when I've spoken about it before, is the visuals. It was a PS1 style game up to a PS4 style game. The polygon count used in the face, and the big leap from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, which was less, but still a big leap, and then 3 to 4, which is very minimal in comparison. But I would say, like, I think the big advancements now are going to be things like lighting, physics, AI. Maybe you'll have much nicer visuals in a artistic sense. That maybe more
and a bump in frame rate as well.
Yeah,
or more consistent frame rates.
Yeah, exactly. And I was just saying to the guys, do you ever think, like, say, I can't think of a specific game right now, but say you were playing Gears 4. You know, well, it doesn't really look that much better than what Gears of 3 looked like to me. You know, and then you decide to stick on your Xbox 360, stick Gears of War 3 on, you're like, there is a big leap here. You don't notice it as much when you go from the one to the next. It's when you go back, you realize how much it's changed. Yeah? It's not just me then. That's good.
No, I'm the same. Yeah.
Sounds like he's eating something. I'm jealous. I want ice cream.
I'm eating Muller Light Greek style skinny latte flavor yogurt.
That's disgusting. Where's my ice cream?
I didn't bring you any, sorry. If I brought you some, I'd have to bring all of chat some as well. And I didn't want to feel left out.
Well, you didn't have to tell them. You could have just give it to me and they wouldn't know. See? Is there anything else you'd like to say about Square at all?
No, not particularly.
No, well, we'll move on to the last one in a sec, and I would like to say that I know this was meant to be like a big chat about like our predictions and various other things, but I think we've kind of gone off topic quite a bit. I know that some people may not enjoy that. I hope everyone here who's listened so far has enjoyed that, simply because me and Doom, when we were talking about doing it initially, we were considering the way of going about it, and we thought the most informal way of doing it may be the best for the style of podcast. We're doing this live, we're chatting to the people in chat on occasion, not all the time, but like when they're asking questions and things like that. So I think while it has been very on and off topic, I'm hoping it makes for a more interesting chat than just being on point, sticking to the nitty gritty of these specific topics and not diverging at all. So hopefully you've enjoyed it, guys. But we're gonna move on to Nintendo now.
Yeah.
And the only thing I want from Nintendo is, I've said this before, is Majora's Mask of the Wild.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Basically, I want them to take Hyrule, make it really dark. It doesn't need to have the 3-day thing, but like some of the stories in Majora's Mask, like the wedding stuff, like that was a really good story between the boyfriend and girlfriend / husband and wife. And I do think that if they can take Hyrule, it doesn't have to be Hyrule with like a different, like, you know, make Termina again, basically.
Yeah.
And then you go around there. Even if they do the moon thing again, you know, that would be cool. I wouldn't complain, but I would love to see them announce something like that. I know they're not going to do it because there's Link's Awakening coming.
Yeah.
But it would be something I would love them to see.
That'd be awesome.
I would like to see a new F-Zero, even though I'm awful at F-Zero.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
I'm happy with them not talking a lot about Pokemon. I wanted to get mentioned only so they can say, this is the Firestarter's evolution path, this is the water, this is the grass. Pedz, you can pick which one you like now. Yeah. And also, anything else that comes from Pokemon, I would like it to be in the treehouse.
Yeah,
that's
it
what
probably will be.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is like a little bit about, if they bring up Pokemon, because there was a direct the other day, if it's like just a little like minute about some new Pokemon, and that's it, and then boom, that's it. Yeah. Treehouse. I would like to see
Animal Crossing.
I gotta see Animal Crossing. Of course, you've got to see Animal Crossing. I've been dying for an Animal Crossing. The problem is I told my missus, you're not going to be able to play on my data. You're going to have to get your own Switch. I said the good thing is you, because I want to play Animal Crossing on the TV. She likes to play Animal Crossing on the handheld consoles. So I said it'd be perfect. You can play on the Switch when you sit down on the settee. You know, I can play on on the TV, and you know, you can start off. But yeah, I'm trying to think. Like Mario, it would be nice to see like a sequel to Mario Odyssey, but at the same time, I'm in no rush. If it take a long time making more, one thing. I know people clamor for it. I'm like, we need a remake / remaster of Paper Mario 1,000 Year Door. No, I want a third Paper Mario game in the same vein of Paper Mario 1,000 Year Door and Paper Mario, where they have varying characters. Not everyone's a Toad. And it hasn't got the stupid like non-mechanics, but like in Color Splash and stuff, you can avoid fights because you don't really need to do them. And that, I know people have said that with Breath of the Wild, and you can avoid fights in that. But Paper Mario, it was an RPG where you build up on your stats by gaining levels and so on and so forth. And I would love a third game. Yeah. Not like the DS games. Personally, it is wishful thinking, but that's the whole point, isn't it? This is what we want. This is not what we think is going to come. What I think I'm going to get from Nintendo is nothing interesting, new, massive disappointment. That's what I expect.
I'm trying to think now. I think we're going to get Bayonetta 3.
Oh yeah, Bayonetta 3.
Everyone's been a bit like radio silence on that, so I reckon we're going to get a little bit. I'm not super interested in Bayonetta, but it'd be nice to at least know what they're doing with it. I think we're going to get. I'd like the one game I'm really interested in is Town, the game by Game Freak.
Oh yeah,
the game they're doing. I'm really looking forward to that, and I'm convinced we're going to see more, and I'm convinced we're going to see a release date. They're going to announce the release date for it. I'm really looking forward to that. Trying to think what else is there that I'm looking forward to. Would I be no? Would probably a big ask, but do you think there's a chance they might bring any more Zelda over? Obviously they're going to talk about Link's Awakening more. Is it Link's Awakening? Yeah.
It is Link's Awakening. I don't think they'll bring up another Zelda until maybe next E3 at the earliest.
Yeah.
Ubelian said he'd personally prefer Mario and Luigi game. I've played a few of them. I really liked the first one. I thought the second one was okay. I preferred
Nintendo's Battle Royale.
I would get it. Nintendo's Battle Royale, Rocket League 99, get them all. Paper Mario is a game I prefer to Mario and Luigi. What I would love to have is where people are like, oh yeah, we'd like to have Paper Mario 1,000 Year Door Remastered. What I would like is Paper Luigi 1,000 Year Door side story that he tells you about. I would like to actually play through that. So you play through the story that Luigi's has told you about in Paper Mario 1,000 Year Door.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
It would be. I agree.
I'm trying to think what else. WarioWare?
I'd like a WarioWare, but the last ones I played weren't as good as the GameCube one, in my opinion, which I think was pretty much the GBA one, wasn't it? A few more things added on it.
Yeah, possibly.
A new
Metroid 4?
Metroid Prime 4 or Metroid 4?
Metroid Prime 4, sorry, I meant.
We ain't gonna see anything about that.
Don't you reckon?
Oh god, no. They restarted development.
Oh, they did, didn't they?
Yeah. It's the only reason why we're not saying. Retro.
Who was doing it originally? Was it themselves? No.
I don't think it was ever officially announced, but people assumed it was like one of the teams in Japan or Namco. No one knew, I believe.
Yeah. Either way, they couldn't get it right, could they? So they, no, you're right. They did start again. Maybe there wouldn't be anything.
I'm in no rush for a new Kirby game unless it's something like Power Paintbrush. A Wario Land game would be cool, though.
Wario would be cool.
And I would say maybe they do like a Super Mario 3D Switch, as in 3D World, 3D Land, 3D Switch. 3D Swirled. It's where you play as Mario and you have to flush people's heads down the toilet.
You're a bully. You're Mario's a bully.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, you only do it to Koopas who bully the princess.
Oh.
So you're protecting her still. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of games that I'd like. But top of the list would definitely be a new Zelda, where you have like a Termina with Breath of the Wild styled game, with a few improvements like proper dungeons. Like, I know some people don't care about them, but I really fucking do.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the shrines were not nowhere near, did not anywhere near make up for a fucking dungeon. They didn't. You just walk in, solve a puzzle, walk out. That wasn't what a dungeon was. There was more to it than that.
Dungeons were real tests of skill, weren't they? Like.
Yeah, Switch sings. Yeah, I want Switch sings. I can sing in public anyway. I do it all the time. I'm amazing. Is there anything specific you would really love them to just announce?
Just something off the head.
Pokémon trading card game.
Oh, don't.
In the style of the first one.
Amazing. Oh, that'd be amazing.
Pokemon Stadium. Be kind of pointless now, wouldn't it? Pokemon Snap, not Pokemon Fap. I'm not playing that.
Pokemon Snap. Yeah, and I don't want a remaster, and I don't want a remake. I want a new one, a brand new one, a brand new Pokemon Snap.
Do I'd like to see? I know it's not gonna happen, but I like someone from Capcom come out and go, and just go, Beautiful Joe, and then it'll be Beautiful Joe 3.
Yeah.
Beautiful Joe, I think it is, isn't it, the way he says it? Like, really emphasizes each syllable.
No, I don't think there's anything else I could think of.
Pokemon Pap, as in Pokemon Paparazzi. Yeah, that would work.
Paparazzi. Yeah, we're gonna get. Yeah,
we're definitely gonna get something about Smash. It's gonna be the new character. Which I reckon is going to be Barry Burton.
I don't know if there's anyone in this current chat that was there when I talked about who I think is going to be in the next one, because it's the same person I mentioned for pretty much any potential DLC Nintendo are putting out. So we're gonna get full on Armageddon and the Terminator is gonna. We're going to get Arnie in everything. I told you, I'm telling you now, at some point, we're going to get, like, Animal Crossing Terminator style. Like, where you've got, like, all these animals, like, skulls, like, on the floor, and then you just gets crushed under a foot, like the opening scene of Terminator 2, and it just scrolls up, and you've got your villager, your Animal Crossing villager, like, that's, like, all metal skeleton. And he turns up and
Arnie-mal
goes,
crossing.
That's beautiful. That, I think, is the title of our stream, Peds, today. I think that's what the episode needs to be called.
All right, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Um,
Lee, you've won the grand prize. We're naming the stream in your honor.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll find the gift that with the person who says, "Say, look here," and then they open their hands and says, "It's fucking nothing," and that's what I was gonna give you, but I can't be bothered, so I just tell you. Yeah, no, what else could you like? DLC character-wise, genuinely, I obviously don't think it's gonna be anything like a comic book character or film character. 'Cause they're always game-based. You've got Pac-Man. You've got Sonic, you've got Mario. They could add a Bomberman character in, as in Bomberman, or they could add in something like you've got Belmont. Dracula's a boss, so they know how to add Dracula. Alucard is an assist trophy, so there's not gonna be Alucard.
What about the monkey from Super Monkey Ball?
Aye, that would be cool. I wouldn't know how it would work though.
I don't know, but that'd be cool. I'm literally looking at my GameCube collection, figuring out what. Tony Hawk swinging a skateboard.
No, don't add Tony Hawk. I had the ball from Super Monkey Ball, just an empty ball with no monkey in it. Yeah. The good thing is with the skins is you could change the skin from II to Gon to Baby and the other one, Oldie.
Ooh, what about Time Splitters? Nah, I'm not on about for Smash. I'm on about. Imagine if they announced that.
I don't think they would announce it at Nintendo. If anything, it'd be Microsoft or something like, or PC.
Sex.
PC or gaming. PC or Microsoft. That'd be at.
I was gonna say that's unless they've gained the rights for it.
No, I think is it Crysis who owns it? Is it Crysis who owns the rights to, or is it Deep Silver? Not Deep Silver. The company who owns Deep Silver.
The Giant. Dynamax, Josh in the Giant. See what happens then.
No, we don't want him. That game's not very good. I didn't like it very much.
Didn't you? It was basically black and white.
Yeah, it was, but black and white was more fun.
GameCube. Yeah.
You had a monster that would kill things, so it was great.
Yeah.
Though in Dosh in the Giant, you could grab things and throw them.
I just Dynamaxed Dosh in the Giant.
The thing is with that game though is I played the Japanese version of it because that's what I had. I had the Panasonic Q when I had that game with it. Yeah. I didn't actually have it in English. So, I'm trying to think. What else could they add? I'm trying to think of other Nintendo franchises. It's like they could add in some more characters from it's Doshin the Giant, I know. They could add some more characters in from F-Zero, because there's not really... Well, there's only one character in the game as a playable character, before anyone corrects me, that is actually representative of the franchise. So they could add someone in there.
Somebody from Killer Instinct, maybe? I don't know. I'm just crap out there.
No. There is rumours that Banjo... That would be cool.
Banjo would be cool.
There is rumours going around that Banjo... Oh, Bubsy. If Bubsy was in there, I would always pick Bubsy if I ever was in a game with Jasm.
I think Jasm would always pick Bubsy.
Yeah.
As well.
We would all have to pick Bubsy every time.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he would probably cry.
Yeah.
Because, he loves Bubsy more than anything.
Yeah.
In the video
Bubsy
game
is
world.
life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But,
I can't think of any.
No, there's not many characters. They could if they was to take from someone from Donkey Kong, they could add in Dixie
or Grump what's
Cranky.
the old guy? Cranky Kong.
Yeah.
I was gonna think Grumpy Kong then. Yeah, Cranky
Kong. They could add in one of the gummy bears.
Yeah.
I don't know, because Joker was for me really not something I would have thought they would have picked. Because Persona proper has not been on a Nintendo console.
Yeah.
And Persona 5 still isn't coming to the Nintendo console. There's some weird spin-off thing.
Yeah.
So, I I don't even know what that is. That is fucking weird. But yeah, I can't think of many who they would add. They could add, like, how many Sega characters have they got in there? How many Capcom have they got in there? Because they've got some Capcom characters. They could add in someone from, like, Resident Evil, like Barry Burton. I was joking, but they could. Or Leon Kennedy, like, but they don't add guns. I know Joker have got a gun, but it's actually a BB gun.
Dante's a good shout.
Yep, another anime swordsman, but I would like it. And he's not as anime as the Fire Emblem characters. He's more not anime.
Yeah.
Duff McWhalen from MX5. I wouldn't mind if there was a Mega Man X characters in there. The problem you've got is with Mega Man, it makes more sense to have him in there, as in Mega Man or Mega Man X or Mega Man from .exe, because they absorb powers. They can then use various abilities, whereas if you take one of the Robot Masters or Mavericks, they literally have like 2 or 3 moves. And Kylie Minogue from Neighbours could be in it. If Silver from Sonic 06 becomes a playable character in Smash Brothers, I think I'll sell my copy. Dexter should be in there from Dexter's Lab. But no, I genuinely I don't know. I literally have no clue as to what they're gonna put in there. Like Sakurai said himself, it wasn't his decision on the characters.
Yeah,
I believe. So it's not like we can try and throw heads together and imagine what Sakurai would think, because it's not down to him.
No.
So
be interesting to see them. But anyway, moving on from Smash, is there anything else that you'd like to see at Nintendo's show, or have you?
No, I think I've covered what I wanted to cover. My main thing is Majora's Mask style Wind Waker game, and like a Paper Mario. I wouldn't say no to Mario and Luigi, because I do really enjoy those games, but I prefer Paper Mario.
See, I would, as much as we talked about not liking remasters, I would forgive them if they put Wind Waker on the Switch. I would buy that.
Fair enough.
Just as a, yeah. But that's, I didn't buy the remaster for.
No, that's fair enough.
And it's more the fact that I could play it portably as well. That's pretty cool. The only other thing I wish that would happen, and I know it's not going to happen because of EA, but I'd love to have a Rogue Squadron 2 remaster. That's the one remaster I would buy. Or like do the collection, do 1, 2, and 3 remastered, and stick it on a.
I remember with Star Wars Rogue Squadron, the first one on the Death Star, I believe you unlock the trench run. Is that like an extra thing? It's not like part of the main game. I think. Don't quote me on this, but I do know. I think my memory's right, that the trench run is not straight. Because I don't know exactly what it is, but they just couldn't do it on the N64. So there are actual turns. You like go for a bit forward for a bit, and then you turn at like a 90-degree angle and go for another. It's basically like a square or something.
Yeah.
That's how they had to do it.
Yeah. But yeah, I'd love to see like a triple pack, like a remastered triple pack. It's not going to happen because Lucas Games is no longer a thing anymore. And EA has the rights to Star Wars, and it's just definitely going to happen. But that's one that I really wish could happen.
I wouldn't say no. See, the thing is a GameCube game and an N64 game, a pack of 3, 30 quid, I would consider getting a remaster of. But a game that's a couple of years old,
yeah.
Like the one game I wouldn't mind grabbing is Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. I had it on Wii U, and it's out on Switch. I don't really want to buy a remaster, but I'll be honest, I ended up buying it. Why did I buy it? Because they made like a load of new levels. I don't know how many it is. I thought, well, they've actually made brand new stuff for the game. And that's the problem. It's like, will I add more to it? And I don't want to miss out on that new stuff. I don't want it for the other stuff. I know it's a little hypocritical, but it's because of the new stuff is why I've grabbed it. Whereas if they was to add like Wind Waker on it, the only thing is they did was make the tingle thing easier, make the game look a little bit worse, and give you the Swift Stale or whatever the fuck it's called. It's like there's nothing substantial to it.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest problem with most remasters. It's literally they upscale stuff and sell it you for a practically the same price.
Yeah, shocking. You here said, what's the status on this supposed Forza game for Switch? I think I don't honestly. I think there isn't one. I think Forza are releasing or whoever's making it, a Turn 10 or whoever, they're releasing an Android game. I'm not sure if it's out yet. If not, it's coming out very soon. And if anything comes to the Switch, I reckon they'll port that over, because they've done it with Drive Club, I think it is. Is that the game? Yeah. Which again, originally an Android game. They ported over at a cost, so you pay 30, 40 quid, whatever it is, but you get like all the stuff that you would pay for on the Android version. It's all included, so you are getting like a full game with everything like unlocked. You're not being held back. That's the only time I think we'll see a Forza game on the Switch, personally. But if they could do a Forza on the Switch and make it good, I'd be all over that, because I am dying for like I've got kart races like Mario Kart and that, but I want a proper racing game. So if they could do that, I'd be all over that. Yeah.
I'm in no rush for a racing game on Switch, so I'm okay. I'm not a massive racing game fan. I did enjoy Drive Club on the PlayStation 4 when we used to do Drive Club Sundays. Yeah. And I did fucking really love Test Drive Unlimited on the Xbox 360. But I'm not a massive racing game fan, and I think the most fun I have is usually when it's a couple of people, a group of people from GRcade or friends playing them and just having a laugh. But I think it's the gameplay isn't the big focus for me there. It's just the having a laugh.
Yeah.
Astral Chain, Astral Chain is out soon, and I've also got it pre-ordered. So I got it pre-ordered from I can't remember where, but they were doing an offer where if you pre-order certain games, you get money off. And I think I ended up pre-ordering Mario Maker 2 and Astral Chain from there.
What's the mech game that's coming out? Can't remember what that's called.
I thought it was out fairly soon. Astral Chain. The mech game is called Demon Mechana or something.
That's it, Demon X Machina. That will probably. I'm not that interested in it. I don't actually like the aesthetic to the game for what I've seen so far, but that game will be talked about a fair amount, as well as Astral Chain, I would have thought, at E3. So expect that.
Yeah, I do think so as well. Like, I know a lot of people, when they first saw it, thought, oh my god, it's like a new Xenoblade Chronicles X game. Because the mechs reminded people of them, but obviously it wasn't. Astral Chain, I thought looked fucking awesome last year when it was shown. I can't remember when it was shown, if it was E3 or autumn or Direct or something. But that I really like the look of, which is why I pre-ordered it. So, yeah, there's a lot from Nintendo more than other companies that I'm looking forward to at the moment. And I think that's because, it sounds stupid, but for other companies now, like we haven't really talked about Sony because they know there's obviously games I want from Sony as well, like Last of Us 2 and what have you. But I think the main reason why I could say more about Nintendo right now compared to the other companies is because Nintendo have shown quite a lot of stuff, and also for them, they're not at the end of their generation.
No,
whereas the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One are kind of ramping down and then ready for next gen. So it's kind of hard to really have any predictions or any kind of like wants, knowing that, well, if I really want this game, but I know it's not when it comes, so there's no point mentioning it. Because, you know, I want it within the next year, not within the next 5. Yeah. If you get what I mean? So, like, I think next year's E3, if we're still doing this podcast, save. Like, I say if we're still doing this podcast, because I don't know what's going to happen. Like, my plan is to continue this podcast for as long as possible. I enjoy doing it. It's a lot of fun. But if we do this again exactly the same way next year, there's, like, concrete stuff coming about when the consoles are coming out and stuff like that, I think we could have a lot more to discuss when it comes to EA, Sony, Microsoft, Square, Ubi, and so on. I think the problem we have now is we're at the crossroads, like. Yeah. So it's making it a little bit awkward for us in that regard. Like, I personally think that next year's E3 is going to be quite interesting, and the year after will probably be by far the most interesting from this year till then. But the problem we have now is E3 is also becoming less of a spectacle for people, because they, like, Nintendo are doing their directs all through the year. Sony are doing their state of plays, and trust me, they're a state. Microsoft are starting to do their own indie direct style things now. You've got the other Sony conferences. So there's a lot of things, and Microsoft do the same again. So it's like, what is the state of E3 going to be like in a few years' time? Yeah. You know? And what are we going to be able to do this same kind of conversation? I hope so. E3 is one of the biggest times in the year for any fan of video games, and for me personally, like, I got into E3 back when I was quite a bit younger, and what I would do is I would go to my friend's house. Me and him would watch the Nintendo E3 conferences, and then then we would watch them all. Like a couple of years later, we started watching them all, and for years that would be our thing. I'd go to his house, we'd watch the conferences, have some food, watch some films, play some games, and then he moved away, so I've just been doing it on my own. And then with GRcade, Devlin started doing the postmortems. So if you want to listen to them from previous years, they're on the GRcade YouTube channel, which I think is GRcade video. It says at the top up there. So you can see different things there.
It pales in the official GRcade podcast pales in comparison to our much more superior Twitchcast.
Oh, definitely. But that the postmortems, to be fair, weren't a part of the podcast. They were separate again.
Well, we're doing our own version of the postmortems now this year, so it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll see, especially if we can do some of them live. But my point is they've always been like for like half my life, they've been a big part of my life, if that makes sense. Yeah. Even though it's just basically me watching people saying, this is what I'm going to sell you. You give me money, you get this. This is my advert for you. Lovely shiny advert. But it's just something that I've always been like something to look forward to, and I'm hoping that the directs and whatever Sony and Microsoft continue to do don't impact E3. I'm not saying it's going to, but it's just seeming that way, especially with Sony pulling out this year. Is it going to be a thing where more people start pulling, like EA? Like, even though EA are doing it the day before E3 starts, they also aren't part of E3. I don't think Microsoft are classed as part of E3 anymore either, because they do their own thing in the Microsoft Stadium, or whatever it's called.
Yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? But but the point is, they're still doing it around E3 in terms of like it's still a similar date. So I still think E3 has a big pull, and even though they're not doing it at the actual event, they're still doing these announcements around on the time of E3 because that's when they know their interest is at its highest. So I think I think E3's evolving. I'd say that's the best way to describe it. Just obviously, we're running quite late now. What I would like to say, Nintendo was the last one, wasn't it?
Yeah, Nintendo is the last one.
Just the last thing on Nintendo. Do you think we're going to see a Switch revision announced? Maybe not shown, maybe not a thing this year. Do you think they're going to announce that they are making a Switch revision? Maybe a Switch Lite or something?
I don't know. I don't. The thing I see is not that they won't do a revision. Is it too early to do a revision?
Well, that's what I say. Are they going to talk about it and announce that there will be one, but it won't come out till next year?
I don't think they would announce it with a year gap, especially if they've got nothing really to show.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping no, and if they do a revision, hopefully it's for a way to improve it on my TV, not make it smaller, because I don't care about that.
I think they're going to be making it smaller. If they do a revision, it's going to be smaller, more cost effective, and they're going to try and get it to the sub 200 mark. So they need to really. But,
yeah.
You know, the DS Lite came out about 2 years after the DS Fat did, and the 3DS XL, not the new one, just the standard 3DS XL, came out 18 months to 2 years after the original 3DS came out. So we are actually due a hardware revision, like if you look at it that way.
No, yeah, I get what you're saying, and I'm not saying that it's not going to happen.
The 2DS XL came out 18 months or so, maybe 2 years after the new 3DS came out. So we are kind of due one. Not that I'm saying we need one, but we are due one. Is why I'm brought it up. So
yeah, I don't know, and I'm not bothered if they don't, to be honest.
No,
I'm happy as it is, and if they if they announce here's a smaller one, then that's even less of an appeal for me. I just want something better for my TVs. Anyway, it's 23 minutes past 12. We've been live for over 3 hours. This is the longest one we've done. I don't know how it will go next week. I think it's the longest one we've ever done. Because we want to do some stuff live. So we probably have like a little picture in the corner of the conference while we're watching it and stuff.
Yeah.
The thing is if we do some live, we may also end up doing some after the fact. But then I wouldn't know if we would do the usual Sunday night episode, if you know what I mean. So we have to think about that. Me and Doom will discuss it, see if anyone else on the forum's interested, see where we go. Anyway, I need to say goodnight. Doom needs to say goodnight, I assume. He might not want to, he might just go and just like not say anything. Who knows?
No, we're all good. What I would say just before we go, is there anyone in chat that has any questions or statements they'd like to say before we go? We're open to some questions if there are some.
Yeah, I gotta thank Jeff again for his massive wallet.
Yeah.
Doom, will you marry me? Jeff. Wow, Jeff.
Well, after the way you were so generous, then if you're that generous to us as a community, I can only imagine how generous you are as a partner and a lover. So yes, I will marry you.
What would your wife say about
that? She's not here. She's in work. I'm okay. I'm safe.
Okay, you're safe.
Unless she's watching this stream, and then I'm in trouble. But if I get a phone call now, I'm in the shit.
Damn, I wish I had your number. I'd do it withheld, just for a laugh.
You said doped up on smack or smacked up on dope.
Well, it depends, because are you asking in an American sense? Because they both mean the same thing in America, I believe.
Could be. I think I'd rather be dope, smacked up on dope. I think sounds like you're gonna have a better time than doped up on smack.
Yeah, yes, I agree. Anyway, guys, is there anything else you would genuinely like to ask us about what we've talked about? I don't mind you asking other questions either. I just wondering if it is actually anything about what we've talked about, like, or you could just tell us how wrong we are and then we can block you. I'm joking, I wouldn't do that. Sonic 2006 or 2006 Sonics? Well, I would have 2006 Sonics if they are Sonic 1 to 3 era Sonics. Sonic 2006 can go fucking die in a fire. It's an awful game made by awful people who wanted the world to burn. But yeah, it will be good to see how E3 turns out. I know we deviate a lot from the topics at times, but that's the only thing about doing it live. Exactly. You know, we're not trying to be professional. We're just trying to have a bit of fun while you lot do whatever you do.
Yes.
Anyway, I need to say goodnight now. Good night, guys. Thank you for tuning in. For those who are listening afterwards, thank you so much for listening. It is always a pleasure to do these. I love doing them. They're great fun. And I also enjoy Doom's company sometimes.
Yes.
Sometimes.
Social media stuff. You can find me on Twitter at the Doomspoon. You can find me on here at Doomspoon the Pedz. What are you on Twitter?
Underscore Pedz underscore, I think. Something like that. I'm not really sure. I don't really do it. Also for GRcade, for those who have obviously are listening who can't see it, GRcade video on YouTube, at GRcade on Twitter, Facebook I think is
just GRcade, isn't it?
I think is a
GRcade
UK, and obviously for those who are listening who would like to tune into the Twitchcast live and berate us with comments about how idiotic we are. It's GRcade UK again. Don't forget to check out grcade.co.uk. It's a lovely little forum with lots of lovely people who aren't as stupid as me. So you'll get a lot more sense out of other people there.
just about.
Well, yeah, just about. Good night. Bye. Thank you.
Love you. Bye. Love you. Bye.